2014 Cotuit Kettleers baseball hits the air in 3,
2, 1.
Mr. Schroeder has hammered it deep right field. A long run for Lair, and he's back on it. It's out of here. We're tied at 3 on a solo shot from Casey Schroeder. First pitch swinging down the right field line. It's through for a base hit. Here comes Casey Schroeder. He will score. The Kettleers defeats the Brewster Whitecaps 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th on a walk-off base hit.
2014 Cotuit Kettleers baseball lives here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with the Kettleers warm-up, here's Brendan Glasheen.
The Gatemen are back at Lowell Park for the first time in 3 weeks, and the Kettleers look for their first win against Wareham this season. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen on hand at Lowell Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. The Kettleers entering today's game in 3rd place in the Western Division, taking on, Greg, the team's worst ball club in the division, Wareham. However, the Kettleers are 0-3 against the Gatemen. Offensively, this group has been able to outscore the Kettleers. And the pitching for Cotuit, as much as we've talked about, has it struggled? The team ERA, ugly against this Gateman team.
A 7.20 team ERA against Wareham. The Kettleers are also only hitting a very meager amount against Wareham. They're hitting .212 against the Gatemen in comparison to Wareham, who's hitting .343 against the Kettleers. With a win today, Wareham has more wins this year than they did all of last year. And I think another key indicator is that the Cotuit Kettleers, Troy Wingenter, today's starter, he went 4 1/3 innings on Sunday against Harwich. No Kettleers starter since that start has gone more than 4 innings.
It's been a tough time on the mound for the Kettleers pitching staff. We've talked about it the last few days in terms of these starters in the first inning. The Kettleers in 4 straight games, their starting pitcher has thrown 20-plus pitches in that first inning. You talked about this with Brian Scott the other day. Greg Moraz joined Coach Scott once again on the Roberts Report. Here's Brian Scott with Greg. It's time for the Roberts Report on the Kettleers warm-up. Standing by with Mike Roberts is Greg Moraz.
Today we don't have the Roberts Report. We once again have the Scott Scoop with head assistant coach Brian Scott. And coach, yesterday's ball game, the offense was very resilient in the last 2 innings, but once again, you guys got down in a hole. What do you think it takes to be able to have a resilient offense in that they're down 6 runs and they still believe they can win?
I think it's a great thing because, with baseball there's no clock, so no matter if you're down to your last strike, you can still score 5, 10 runs. They just never were out of it, never thought they were out of it, and they just continued to fight and to try to string together good at-bats and base hits.
Trey Wingenter's going out for his 2nd start today. He's the last Kettleer pitcher to complete 4 full innings. He seemingly is at his best when he is firing his fastball low in the zone. What does it take for Trey, in your opinion, and Coach Roberts' opinion, for him to be at his best?
I think you just right there, throwing low in the zone, pounding the zone low, mixing speeds, and hopefully we'll see more of what we've seen from him before and go 4, 5, 6 innings. That would be great.
Who, in your opinion, until another infielder possibly gets here, you've had Brendan Hendricks play 3rd. Ian Rice played 3rd yesterday. Is there anybody right now that you and the coaching staff are comfortable actually putting at 3rd base that isn't Logan Taylor or Drew Jackson?
Well, I think that's a difficult question because the guys we've been asked to play there, or we've asked to play there, have not spent a lot of time there. So both Brendan and Ian, we've worked out there and are working hard to learn the position and to be good at the position. But like you said, until we bring up somebody else in, those 2 guys and probably possibly Trace.
Final question for you. This Wareham team, you haven't beat them yet this year. You've allowed 7 or more runs in each of the first 3 games that you have played against the Gatemen. Now, you went 6-0 against them last year. Obviously, different rosters on both sides. But what is it going to take, based upon the first 3 times that you've seen them this year, what is the number one key in order to getting ahead of them?
I think it's the starting pitching. I was talking to the Wareham manager, Cooper Ferris, before the game, and the games they haven't won, they haven't had the starting pitching. It makes sense. In the games they've won against us, they've had it. So we're excited to see Trey throw tonight and start us off on the right foot.
Actually, I got one more follow-up question for you. Kyle Cody, the starter for Wareham, the same guy that you saw the last time you played the Wareham Gatemen. He went 8 innings. He threw 118 pitches. What is the number one thing, scouting report-wise, that you saw from him last time that you can translate to your hitters for success?
Gosh, I'm not sure that there's one thing. I think they just need to keep doing what they've done in the past, not worry about what they saw against him last time, but continue to swing the bats and have good at-bats to try to score some more runs.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Scott. That was the Scott Scoop here on the Roberts Report. We'll be back with more of the Kettlers warm-up after this.
He's got a great point. Kyle Cody was terrific in that start, Greg. As you said, 118 pitches to get through 8 innings, allowing 3 runs, 7 hits, walked 2, and struck out 9. This offense still found a way to put up 3 runs. I talked before the game with Jackson Glines on Hot Off the Kettle to discuss this team's offensive approach and the resiliency not only the team has had on the offensive end, but how Jackson has adjusted to playing outfield corner positions as opposed to the position he played all year at Michigan, center field.
See which Kettleer is heating up on today's edition of Hot Off the Kettle with Brendan Glasheen.
Now joined by Jackson Glines on the sideline before today's game. The Kettleers take on the Wareham Gatemen here at Lowell Park. Jackson, you guys lost 7-5 yesterday against the Falmouth Commodores, but you guys put up a good fight towards the end. You had a 2 RBI single. Talk about what was going through the dugout and maybe before the inning started, how you guys potentially could come with a rally.
Well, we were just going up there at bat, guy after guy, just kind of trying to get the next guy up and just fighting. And go. We got 3 outs to work with, so we were just trying to score as many runs as we could with those 3 outs.
Now, against Harwich the other day, you were scratching the lineup due to a sore hand. I think I mentioned to you the other day. You said you're feeling okay. How's the hand doing?
Yeah, it's fine now. It's got X-rays. They're negative, so we're good to go now.
John Norwood's done a nice job at the top of the order, but slowly you've actually become a really good table setter at the top of the order for Mike Roberts. It's really gone unnoticed because John has stepped into that leadoff spot. But what have you been able to do at the top of the order to be a table setter for this lineup?
I just see pitches, and I mean, my job is to get on base and let these big guys behind me just bang me in.
Defensively, how has it been moving around in the outfield? You played some right, you played some left. What's that been like in terms of your movement in the outfield?
It's been interesting. I mean, I played center at Michigan for the whole season, but I mean, a fly ball is a fly ball, left, right, center, so it's been a pretty smooth transition.
And finally, I know you started the year with Brewster. You went 8 for your first 19 there with John Altabelli and company. What's that transition been like? I know you've been here now for a couple of weeks. What's it been like just changing clubhouses? Has it been different? Has it been hard? What's that been like?
It's been a little different style we do over here, the coaching and whatnot, but I mean, it's still baseball, so you just go out there and swing, see the ball, hit the ball. So.
All right, Jackson, good luck today.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Jackson Glines joins us today for Hot Off the Kettle. Kettleers take on the Gatemen at 5 o'clock here at Lowell Park. Jackson Glines bats second today for the Kettleers. He's in left field. And Greg, just to talk about this lineup, we mentioned yesterday how this group got resilient in that 9th inning at Arnie Allen Diamond. You look at this order, the offense has never been the question here, but let's focus a bit now on Trey Wingenter. We haven't talked much about him. Much of the talk has been surrounded by Kyle Cody. Before we catch up with the Wareham broadcast team, Trey Wingenter was the last pitcher to go beyond the 4th inning for the Kettleers. That was last Sunday against Harwich. What do you expect from Wingenter today on the mound?
I expect what Coach Scott was saying. Him trying to keep that fastball low in the zone. One of the things that Kettler pitching did last season, which really helped this pitching staff develop throughout the game, is that a lot of these guys were exclusively fastball in the first inning. I remember last year, Evan Beal, a right-hander from South Carolina, a 21st round pick of the Kansas City Royals, he basically in the first inning last year would be 80 to 90% fastball. That got him established. That's something that I don't think Kettler pitching has done this year. So for Trey Wingenter, you might want to use your changeup. You might want to use your breaking ball. What I would do is keep throwing fastballs until you can feel comfortable enough to throw something else for a strike. Get strikes established. That's the key.
Trey Wingenter makes his first start again since Sunday against Harwich. This will be his second start of the year. Wingenter, nonetheless, since June 11th, opening day, he's pitched in 6 relief appearances. His last relief appearance came at Bourne. He earned the win with 3 2/3, allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, walked 2, and struck out 4. We'll have lineups in first pitch after the national anthem, but first, our own Greg Moroz caught up with the broadcast team of the Wareham Gatemen to discuss the Gatemen point of view. And also, before we hit this here, the Gatemen have an opportunity to win 3 straight games for the first time since the end of the 2012 season. The Gatemen did not win back-to-back games last year, only won 9 games total. The last time they won 3 straight was the last 3 games of the regular season in 2012. Here's the Wareham broadcast team with Greg Moroz.
Welcome into Broadcaster's Corner, where we see what's going on with the opposing team from the guys who know them best. Standing by with the Wareham broadcast team, here's Greg Moroz.
My guest on Broadcaster's Corner is Mike Monaco, play-by-play broadcaster for the Wareham Gatemen. Mike, Wareham finally seems to be finding their stride. A 2-game winning streak, a 2-0 win last night over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. It looks like everything was clicking. Ryan Olson last night from San Diego, 6 scoreless innings. I mean, that had to be, from a pitching standpoint, for a team that has an ERA over 4.7, the best output you've seen from the pitching staff all year.
Well, it's been tremendous recently, Greg, and it's interesting because it does, you look at it and you see these close wins and it feels like everything is clicking, but it feels that way because the pitching and the defense have been cleaned up, and those were the huge problems early on, really through the first half of the season. But over these last couple of games, things have really solidified in that sense. The hitting, that's fallen off a bit, but hey, the pitching and defense has been great. 4 straight games without an error. And the 2 games before that, they only had 1 error. So 2 errors in 6 games. I mean, that's terrific. Pitching-wise, the starter has gone at least 5 innings in 6 of the last 7 games, which you guys in Kentuit certainly know that that's hard to come by for your staff. It was hard to come by for us as well. Pitching has been great. And yeah, back-to-back wins. And this is a really big weekend for the Gatemen.
Tonight's starter, Kyle Cody, the right-hander from Kentucky. He's a guy that went 8 innings the last start that he faced against the Kettleers, gave up 3 runs. He really looked like he was on after about the 4th inning. This guy seems like someone who's better late in the ballgame. Now, arm trouble in the past, but he still threw 118 pitches in that last start against the Kettleers. Is Kyle Cody sort of past all of that fear in the mind about his elbow flaring up?
Completely. I mean, absolutely. We talked to him before the season began and asked him if there was any lingering concern about it was elbow tightness, and that's what caused him to leave Wareham early last summer, and that's what caused him to miss 3 weeks of his sophomore season at Kentucky. And he said, hey, I just can't really think about that. I just need to focus on, right now I feel good, and he's out there and he's throwing, and he's pitching great right now. He is the ace of the staff at this point in the summer because of the last 2 outings and how dominant they've been, and that's what you expect from a guy who has first-round pick potential.
Wareham is hitting .343 this season against Kentuit, and a guy, Corey Ray, who has struggled against pretty much the entire rest of the league, in the lineup today, he's hitting .500 this season against the Kettleers. What? Is there any, rhyme or reason to that?
No, and there's no rhyme or reason for Wareham in general. I mean, 3 wins against the Kettleers, 3 wins against Chatham as well. And, it's like, how do you get 6-year wins right there? And they've only had 9 wins this whole summer, but for some reason they know how to beat the Anglers and they know how to beat the Kettleers. And Cooper Ferris jokes about it. I wish we could play those teams every time. Not that there's anything to read into that, but they've just been able to put it together in those certain games. And, yeah, Corey Ray is just one example of it. And, you can see just how raw his ability is, and there's a lot of natural talent there, but he just hasn't been able to really put it all together consistently outside of those games against Kentuit.
Final question for you, Mike. Wareham won their 9th game last night. That was all they won all of last season, especially for you, obviously, on the broadcast end. But for Cooper, it has to be a big jump considering how bad last season was, and this season just has to feel so much different, even though the fact that the team is still struggling.
Yeah, well, it is so different, Greg, because even when this team was sitting at 6-7 wins for a while, it just felt different. There was a different vibe about this team, whereas last year you didn't feel like they were going to win a lot of those games. You didn't feel like they were in it all the time. This year, when they've lost, a lot of times it's because they're beating themselves. I mean, this is a team that could very easily be hovering around 500 because there's a lot more talent on this team. It is a load off for Cooper. I mean, he's still nowhere near where he wants to be, but hey, you get back-to-back wins. He's excited about that, and hey, we'll see what happens the rest of the weekend, but a big opportunity for this team because they play the Kettleers today, 2.5 games back from that squad, and then get Hyannis again tomorrow, 2 games back of the Harbor Hawks.
Well, Mike, thank you, sir, very much, as always, for joining us. Mike Monaco, play-by-play broadcaster for the Wareham Gatemen here on Broadcaster's Corner. We'll be back with more of the Kettleers warm-up right after this.
It's time for Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with lineups and first pitch, here's Brendan Glasheen.
Welcome back to Lowell Park. Thank you to the Wareham broadcasters for joining us on the Kettleers warm-up, brought to you by the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. The starting 9 for the visiting Wareham Gatemen. Kramer Robertson leads things off. He's at second base. Blake Lacey bats second. He's at short. Keaton Aldridge bats third. He's behind the plate. Nick Halamandaris bats cleanup. He's at first. Danny Rosenbaum, the DH, bats fifth. Anderson Miller batting in the sixth hole. He's in right field. Charlie Warren bats seventh. He's in center. Jose Quas, the third baseman, bats eighth. And rounding out the order, Corey Ray, the left fielder, he bats ninth.
From left to right in the outfield, Jackson Glines, Jake Fincher, and Rhett Wiseman. Around the horn from third to first, Brendan Hendricks, Drew Jackson, Logan Taylor, and Jameson Fisher. Trace Barrera will be catching pitches from the right-hander from Auburn, number 48, Trey Wingenter.
Wingenter started every game in which he pitched this past season with the Auburn Tigers, making his second start of the summer with the Kettleers this season. First start came on July 6th against Harwich here at Lowell Park this past Sunday. A 5-5 tie as a result of darkness, a streak in which there were 3 straight games here at Lowell Park that ended due to light being not available. Went 4 1/3 in that start, allowed 3 runs, all of them earned. He walked 5 batters, allowed 4 hits, and struck out 5. Opponents in that ball game hit just 290. On the season total, Wingenter has opponents hitting just 246 against him. And the Kettleers take the field now, leading the charge, Rhett Wiseman. As he bolts towards right field. Trace Barrera rocking his Texas Longhorn gear behind the plate. Wingenter's got the high socks, and he's set to go. But, Greg, we've been talking about how important of a game this is because, again, you get to the midpoint of July. The playoffs creep up on you at this point in the season, considering the fact that it's July 12th, the All-Star game on the 31st. You play a couple of games in August, and just like that, it's time for Cape Cod Baseball League playoff baseball. The Kettleers hold just a 2.5-game lead on Wareham.
Kettleers are 5 points ahead of the Wareham Gatemen. They're 1 point ahead of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who currently stand in 4th place. As you heard Mike on the Kettleers, or on Broadcaster's Corner, I should say, if Wareham wins 2 games in a row, Hyannis will be in last place. Unless, of course, Hyannis ends up winning today, which obviously very well possible. But Wareham has a chance to jump back into the playoff picture very quickly because over the last 2 weeks, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks have taken a massive tailspin. And you could make the argument that with the exception of the winning streak that the Kettleers had over the course of Monday and Tuesday of this past week, that they are in the same boat in terms of being in a tailspin.
Trey Wingenter gets the ball as he's tossing his warm-up pitches to Trace Barrera. The Kettleers have lost 2 straight games dating back to Harwich and Falmouth, both road games, and the Kettleers enjoyed an off day on Thursday. Barrera now throws down to second. But yeah, I'd have to agree. Based on what's happened these last few games, the main thing has been the starting pitching. We've said it multiple times. In the 26 games the Kettleers have played this season, just 3 times has a starter gone 5 innings at least. Trey Wingenter set to go against Kramer Robertson. We're ready for baseball here at Lowell Park. First pitch is driven right back up the middle, a base hit. Good start for Wareham. Robertson, a line shot on the ground right by the outstretched glove of Wingenter. He's on first with nobody out. Let's get you the officiating crew for today's game. They're brought to you by Friendlies because we want friendly conversations with our umpires amongst the players, coaches, and broadcast team. At home plate, Joe Caraco. At first base, John Gonsi. And over at third base, Steve Kineski. Wingenter comes to the set, chest level, off on the pitch, Robertson. It's a chopper up in front. The tall 6'7" Wingenter gets it no problem. Throw to first, retires Lacey. Robertson up to second base.
Something very indicative of the Kettleers offense that we've seen from Wareham. Trey Wingenter has faced 2 batters, and he's thrown a grand total of 2 pitches.
Robertson quickly in scoring position. On the ground out chopper by Lacey brings up Keaton Aldridge. Has been red hot as of late for this ball club. Aldridge this season batting .386, 22 of 57. Change up, cuts left to right on the outside corner to the left-handed hitting Keaton Aldridge of Memphis. Aldridge a homer and 7 runs batted in. Has struck out just 11 times in 57 at-bats. 0-1 from Wingenter. A breaking ball that's lifted to the left side, out of play. Wingenter ahead in the count, 0-2.
And you talk about guys who have made the most of their second opportunities in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Keaton Aldridge hit under 200 last season. And right now for the Wareham Gatemen, he leads the team with a .386 average.
Aldridge in his last 5 games, 5 for 11, a .444 clip. 0-2. Fastball. Outside, Aldridge doesn't chase. The count 1-2. You mentioned how you get that out with Lacey and the base hit from Robertson. The Kettleers defensively and pitching-wise don't mind the early swinging as Wingenter able to strike out Keaton Aldridge. A changeup low and away. He's out.
Wingenter is throwing strikes. He's keeping the ball down in the zone. He hasn't thrown anything above the hitter's belts, and that's an encouraging sign because that means that he is on his game in terms of being able to keep that ball exactly where he wants it.
6 pitches, 2 outs. In 4 straight starts, the Kettleers on the mound. The starting pitcher has thrown 20 or more pitches in the first inning. Wingenter hopes to stop that trend today. Halamanderis, the batter of Cal Berkeley, gets in the dirt to the backstop. It hits him on the left foot, says home plate umpire Joe Caraco. So therefore, Robertson has to stay at second because he was in movement towards third as if it was a pass ball. So he remains at second base. Halamanderis down to first. First and second, 2 outs for Rosenbaum.
You could make the argument that Kramer Robertson didn't agree at second base that Halamanderis got hit. From our vantage point, it didn't look as if he got hit, but it just clipped him along the right foot.
Kettleers in the home whites, maroon hats, maroon socks. First pitch, dribbled out in front by Rosenbaum. Wingenter picks it up, gathers, throw to first in time to end the top of the first inning. Takes Wingenter just 10 pitches to get through this first inning. Definitely changes the trend that we've seen as of late. We'll go to the home half of the first at Lowell Park. No score between Wareham and Katuitt on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Kettleers come to the plate for the home half of the first inning. No score as Wareham retired with just 5 batters coming to the plate. A quick top half of the first, Greg, that we seemingly have not been used to because the Kettleers pitching has been brutal when it comes to the first inning. Let's get you the starting 9 for the Kettleers. John Norwood, the DH, leads off. Jackson Glines, the left fielder, bats second. Rhett Wiseman bats third. Jamison Fisher, the cleanup man. Trace Barrera bats fifth. Brendan Hendricks bats sixth. He's over at third. Jake Fincher bats seventh. Logan Taylor, the eighth hitter. And Drew Jackson rounds out the order today for Katuitt.
From left to right in the outfield, Corey Ray, Charlie Warren, and Anderson Miller around the horn. Jose Quaz, Blake Lacey, Kramer Robertson, and Nick Halmendaris from third to first. Keaton Aldridge behind the plate, catching pitches from the right-hander from Kentucky, Kyle Cody.
Cody, first pitch fastball low and in to the monster hitter, John Norwood. Fastball misses low and inside to the Vandy outfielder. Another fastball low and in at 92. Cody threw 118 pitches against the Kettleers back on July 5th at Spillane Field in Wareham. Went 8 innings to earn the win against the Kettleers. 2-0. Change up, misses low. A third of Wareham's wins this season have come against Katuitt. They've won 9 games, which matches the total they won last year. Cody into the windup, 3-0 to Norwood. Fastball, knee high. A put-me-over pitch for Cody. It's called a strike. John Norwood entering play today. Batting .381, 8 for 21 to start the season. A homer, and 4 runs batted in. 3-1 pitch, a mighty swing and a miss. 94 on the gun from Cody.
Cody stands at 6'7", 245, so he doesn't need to really reach back in order to get a lot of velocity.
2 pitchers with height today, both 6'7", including Wingenter. 3-2 on the way to Norwood. Fastball sliced to the right side. A long run for Anderson Miller. Creeps in a couple of steps. Running southeast. Makes the catch to retire Norwood for out number 1. Brings up Jackson Glines.
Real good job by Kyle Cody fighting back in that at-bat. 3 pitches, all balls, all low. Comes back, gets a put-me-over fastball, and gets Norwood to swing at a dipping fastball, and then gets him to fly out on a lazy pop to right.
Jackson Glines, 1 for 4 in yesterday's game against Falmouth. First pitch fastball upstairs and away to the left-handed hitter from Michigan. Joined us today on Hot Off the Kettle. Now, Jackson's been here for a couple of weeks. Moved from the Brewster Whitecaps to the Katuitt organization. The 1-0. Glines, 6 change-up, low and away from Cody, 2-0. And Jackson mentioned the fact that not playing center field, his normal position at Michigan, he played every game there, has played some left, has played some right, and he says the adjustment has been fine. A shot towards first base. Halmendaris picks it up, tags the bag himself for out number 2. Glines retired. And this has been impressive for Cody, considering he got behind a John Norwood 3-0, got behind a Glines 2-0, and he's able to retire both in a row.
I think it's just the fact that Cody is the type of pitcher that he's got so much movement on a fastball that is in the low 90s. 94 he's topped out at today. He's thrown pretty much every fastball from 92 to 94, and it has movement too. And when a ball has movement, you can't really hit it on a straight line.
Rhett Wiseman stands in, second Commodore of Vanderbilt to bat in the top of the first. First pitch fastball misses away. Aldridge has to screech out of the crouch. Aldridge sports his cerulean blue catcher's uni. Of course, playing for the Memphis team. Change up, cuts inside to Wiseman. Count even at 1-1. Rhett enters action today, batting .243, 9 of his first 37, with 6 RBIs, 1-1. Wiseman, another fastball upstairs. Ducks the ball a bit. Nonetheless, he's ahead, 2-1. Jose Quaz, the third baseman, creeps in even with the bag. Infield and outfield nonetheless straight away. 2-1. Wiseman pops it up to the left side. Quaz as well as Lacey with a run on it. Now Lacey is going to make the catch about 5 to 7 steps in front of the infield grass. An inning in the books here at Lowell Park. No score between the Gatemen and Kettleers on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Second inning here at Lowell Park. No score between the Gatemen and Kettleers. First pitch swinging by Anderson Miller towards the second base hole. Logan Taylor, a rocket over to first to retire Miller. Ball was hit slightly up the middle. Taylor able to range over and make the play. One down to start the second.
6 Wareham hitters have come to the plate. 3 first pitches have been put in play. That's good for Trey Wingenter. That means...
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Wingenter has thrown 9 pitches total. First pitch fastball at 91, low and away to Charlie Warren. Warren from Rice, hitting .279, 19 of 68, with an RBI. Misses a pitch low and away. Another fastball from Wingenter. 2 balls, no strikes. .2-0 on the way. Another fastball off the plate, a couple inches to the left. 3-0.
First 3-ball count that any Kettleer pitcher, or that Wingenter's issued today.
Put me over change up. Dips on the low outside corner from Wingenter. 3-1. Brendan Hendricks over at third base, in on the grass. Jamison Fisher far back down the first base line. Line shot down the left field line, foul. Wingenter has fought back. It's now 3-2 to the outfielder from Rice, Charlie Warren. Wingenter holds the glove up in front with his elbows apart. 3-2 pitch on the way. Payoff is hit to the left side by a delivery truck out in the parking lot here at Lowell Park. Foul. Count remains 3-2. Katuitt looking for their first win of the season against Wareham midway through July. 3-2. Fastball upstairs, ball 4. Warren trots down the first base line. A one-out walk issued by Wingenter.
Despite the fact that Wingenter has been efficient so far, he's given up 3 base runners, 2 of them on balls not put in play, the hit by pitch of Hal Menderes and that walk right there.
Here's Quas, the third baseman from Maryland. First pitch, fastball. Inside, just before his right thigh, the count 1-0. Cause this year, hitting .238. Wingenter a long pause at the stretch, a fastball on the outside corner, called a strike. Barrera looked down that first base line, potentially to throw down to check on Warren. Fisher put his hands up and said, nope, don't worry, no throw. No chance to get him. Quaz, a slight open stance, the black batting gloves with some yellow print on them. Under Armour brand. Wingenter now checks over at first base after coming to the set. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Here in the top of the second, no score between Cotuit and Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Wingenter holds the ball behind his back, comes to the set just in front of his chest. Barrera sets up outside. The fastball misses outside. 2-1.
Quaz attends Maryland, and you look at those Under Armour gloves. Maryland was the first ever school to sign on with Under Armour as an apparel contract.
The Terrapin sports some yellow as well as red and black. A called strike. A changeup on the outside corner at 76. That differential is nasty from Wingenter. We've seen the fastball at 91. Come back with a changeup in the high 70s. Not too shabby. 2-2 on the way to Quaz. Here it is. Fastball misses low and in. 96 on the gun from Wingenter.
I didn't even know he could throw that hard.
Two pitchers with very similar styles. Cody against Wingenter. Both 6'7". 3-2 pitch. Fastball shot towards short. Jackson, it goes off of his chest. The flip to second to Taylor, not in time. A very hard hit ball by Quaz, but an atom ball to Drew Jackson. Let's see what they're going to score an error.
That's definitely the right call because that ball hit hard on the ground. There wasn't any effect from the ball transitioning from the lip of the grass to the dirt. And if Jackson fields that cleanly, that more than likely is an inning-ending double play.
Second straight game in which Drew Jackson has recorded an error. First pitch fastball at 93, low and in to the left-handed hitting Corey Ray. Teammates with Danny Rosenbaum at Louisville. Wingenter a long stare, the back bent, now comes to the set straight away, the 1-0. Fastball lined right back into the backstop. Foul ball, it's 1-1.
Corey Ray is a Kettleer killer. He's only 6 for 32 on the season, but he's 3 for 6 in 2 games against the Kettleers.
Wingenter to the set, looks towards second base. Another look there, the 1-1. Low and in. Change up at 83. Just one hit, almost 2 innings into this ball game. That hit came for the Kettleers, rather for the Gateman. Pitch struck to left center field. A long run for Fincher as well as Glines. It's going to bounce and hit the wall. Warren is rounding third base. He comes in to score. Cause hold at third base. A 1-out double for Corey Ray. Gets Wareham on the board first. It's 1-0.
I find it fascinating that a guy like Corey Ray can struggle so much against the rest of the league, and yet when he faces the Kettleers, that is the second time that he has had an RBI double against Cotuit. That's only his 7th hit of the season.
Sometimes it's all about comfortability, and this Wareham team, despite only winning 9 games so far into the season, which matches their last year total, they have found every way to get on this Cotuit squad. First pitch curveball misses upstairs. It doesn't break the way Wingenter would like. It's 1-0 to Kramer Robertson, the leadoff man. Infield, notably in for Cotuit. Quaz at third, Ray at second. 1-0 pitch. Fastball up and away, swung on and missed. Robertson chases. 1-1. Second hit for Wareham. And they're on the board first. Wingenter steps off with the right foot. Has his left foot slightly in front of the right. Into the windup. He delivers. Popped up. Shallow left center. Fincher as well as Glines on the run. It's going to be Glines. He makes the catch. No tag from third by Quaz because Glines very shallow in left field. A big second out. There's 2 down for Blake Lacey.
Glines did not break in on that ball initially. Drew Jackson went out on it and realized he was in no man's land. Glines broke in once he saw that that would not be Jackson's ball in any situation. And good enough that it was shallow, because if that ball is deep, then Quazzo has pretty good speed, probably tags.
Here's Lacey, the shortstop. First pitch curveball, cuts left to right, over home plate, but misses low. 1 ball, no strikes. Lacey played in the New England College Baseball League last year, played for the Plymouth Pilgrims. In 38 games, hit .245. 1-0, slice towards second. Taylor ranges to his right, throw across to first in time to retire the side. However, the Gatemen get a run on an RBI double by Corey Ray, as Greg likes to call him, the Kettleer killer from the Gatemen. We've played 1.5 at Lowell Park, 1-0 Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
4, 5, and 6 expected for the Kettleers. Fisher, Barrera, and Hendricks against Kyle Cody. Bottom of the second at Lowell Park. 1-0 Wareham. Right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen on hand with you. Jamison Fisher has been red hot as of late for the Kettleers offensively. Fisher in his last 5 games, 6 for his last 14, with a pair of runs scored and an RBI. In the cleanup spot tonight, first pitch fastball at 89 miles per hour from Cody. Crosses the heart of the plate. No balls, 1 strike on Fisher. Overall, Fisher a 300 hitter, 0-1. Lets the bat fly down the right field line. It clips off the inside of the dugout. He let the bat go, and now he's spinning into his hands to get a better grip on the bat. Coach Brian Bamanek, the first base coach, retrieves it for him.
I actually think that ball hit the camera of our photography intern, Steven.
And now Jamison's heading back to the Kettleers dugout. He wants a new bat. Well, no one got hurt, so I guess everyone can crack a smile, because whenever a player lets go of a bat, it does create some sort of a scene. And this one tailed to the right, and it flew into the dugout. Home plate umpire Joe Caraco just kind of giving Jamison Fisher a look like, come on, man, what are you doing? He's getting a new bat. Taking a couple practice cuts with the new bat. Some of the players giving him a hard time. Count 0-2 on Fisher. Jamison on the season hitting .333, 24 of 72. No homers, 4 runs batted in. Cody into the windup, the 0-2. Fastball misses low and away, 93. Both pitchers tonight, Cody and Wingenter, have kept the ball down. Cody likes to hold the glove right in front of his face. Into the windup, the 1-2. Fastball again, this time at 85. A two-seamer that misses low and away to the left-handed hitting Fisher, 2-2. He rocks and fires. Fastball, shot to the left, out of play.
You have to think that the delay getting a new bat may have messed with Kyle Cody's rhythm somewhat.
He has retired the first 3 Kettleers. Still working through the first time. 2-2 pitch. Fastball line this time to the left side by the Kettleers dugout. Count remains 2-2. 1-0 Wareham with nobody out in the bottom of the second here at Lowell Park. 4th meeting between these two clubs. Last visit from Wareham, an 8-3 win on June 19th. 2-2. Shot to right center. It drops in. A base hit. Jamison Fisher didn't lose the bat on that hit. Finds the first base bag. He's on with a leadoff single in the bottom of the second.
Jamison Fisher has been hitting better since he has started playing the field. Jamison Fisher has been exclusively at first base over the past week. And that's when he's really started to hit.
In his last 10 games now, 12 for his last 26. Hitting .440. Fastball in the outside corner to Trace Barrera, the catcher from Texas. Behind in the count to Cody, 0-1. Barrera enters play today, hitting .313, 5 of his first 16 with 2 bombs and 5 RBIs. Check over at first by Cody. Jamison Fisher on the base paths for the Kettleers is 2 for 3. 2 SBs. It's been caught once. Leads about 5 steps from first. Barrera chops it into the dirt in front of home plate. Deflects foul towards the on-deck circle by Brendan Hendricks. Barrera had a big spot on his shoulders in yesterday's game. Recorded the final out at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. The Kettleers fell in that game 7-5. Entered that inning, though, trailing 7-2. Aldridge sets up outside. 0-2, a high fastball, a waste pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Those are the type of waste pitches that the Kettleers need. Balls that are not going to get away from the catcher. That's not a pitch that will ever, with a good catcher behind the plate, ever get to the backstop.
Cody sets, now steps off. Gets Fisher back to first. I'd have to agree. Most of the waste pitches we've seen from the Kettleers staff have been pitches in front of home plate. They haven't been able to reach. 1-2. Barrera pops it up between the left fielder and shortstop. Corey Ray is in on it to make the catch. Not a smooth grab, but it gets the job done for out number 1.
When a ball gets hit that high, a lot of times outfielders have a tough time tracking exactly where it's going to come down because the trajectory of the downward motion is straight down. A lot of times when a ball is dipping, when it's driven, not popped, it will have a downward trajectory that you can actually spot where the ball is going to land.
Fisher at first with 1 out, bottom of the second, 1-0 Wareham. Right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. A check over at first by Cody once again on Jamison Fisher. Brendan Hendricks, the batter now for the Kettleers. Hendricks, a .333 clip, 22 of 66, 11 RBIs, second on the ball club. Fastball in the outside corner. In for a strike, 0-1. The only guy he trails is tonight's 8th hitter, Logan Taylor. He has 14 for Katuitt. Hendricks likes to wiggle the bat right in front of his shoulder. The pitch, fastball waved on and missed. The throw down to second from Aldridge clearly nails Fisher at the second base bag. It looked like a hit and run call because Hendricks, a half-hearted swing. Aldridge was out of his crouch once Hendricks swung the bat. Clearly a missed hit and run on a tough pitch to hit.
You almost could have called Brendan Hendricks out because his bat was about maybe an inch or two away from hitting Keaton Aldridge's mask.
Now Cody works in the windup, the 0-2. Fastball tips off the end of Aldridge's glove. It soars into the backstop. Count 1-2.
Remember what I said about those types of pitches not ever going to the backstop? High fastball away. As soon as I say it, the next time he does it, goes to the backstop.
1-2, he fires. Fastball swung on and missed. The Kettleers don't go down in order, but Kyle Cody is on early. We'll go to the top of the third at Lowell Park. 1-0 Gateman on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich. Stick with us.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Heart of the order due up for the Wareham Gateman, Greg Mraz, Brendan Glashini. We're now joined by a very special guest up here in the broadcast booth, John Fincher, the father of Kettleer center fielder Jake Fincher. First pitch on the way to Keaton Aldridge from Trey Wingenter. Fastball that misses alone away for ball one. So, John, you're here from Charlotte, North Carolina. Did you actually have a chance to make any trips up here last season? I don't remember you seeing you here at the yard as fastball called on the inside, count even at 1.
Yeah, last year over the 4th of July we came up and brought him a car because he came up here. They flew him up here, and then he found out he needed a car really bad.
1-1, skied out to play the left side. Count to 1-2 on Keaton Aldridge.
So we got up for a short visit last year, and it was a lot of fun, but we weren't here very fast. We were here in and out real quick, and this year we're here for 4 days, so we're really enjoying. And we've never been to Lowell Park, so we were really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, Fincher will bat to lead off the bottom of the third for the Kettleers, but he's been off to a hot start, leading the league in average. What's it like to be the father of the baseball player that's leading the Cape Cod Baseball League in batting average right now?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I mean, this whole season's been a lot of ups and downs, even back at North Carolina State. So this is fun to watch him really succeed right now.
Bring him up, strike 3 called. Aldridge takes a fastball in the outer paint. Trey Wingenter, that's his second strikeout of the ball game. Both of them have been to Keaton Aldridge. That brings up Nick Halamandaris. But for Jake, he seemingly is the most comfortable when he is hitting the ball the opposite field and to center field. He's not really a pull hitter, which is very unique in the modern game. First pitch to Halamandaris, fastball misses high and away. Watching him grow up, did you see him as a guy who would be an opposite field hitter and be the type of player that he's turned into?
Well, when he was young, he's always hit the ball well to right field, and he's always idolized Derek Jeter, and Derek Jeter's probably the best around at hitting the ball to the opposite field, and he's always been a very good opposite field hitter. He did pull the ball though in high school. It's funny, once he got to college, it started to become more of a center to right. But he can pull it from time to time, but not as much as he used to.
1-1 to Nick Halamandaris. Change up the misses outside. 2-1 the count. On the Wareham first baseman from Cal. Got hit by pitch by Wingenter in the first. Swing and a miss. Tailing fastball to the outside. Count even up at 2-2.
Now, obviously, this is his second summer here with the ball club.
Yes.
Second, he played another year at NC State. Maybe what's the one thing that you've been able to see, not only in Jake's game, but maybe his personality, his maturity? What has changed the most from last year to this year for Jake?
Well, he's growing into being a man now. He's not a boy anymore, and that's hard for me to deal with.
3-2, and Hal Menderes swings through a high fastball. Back-to-back Ks for Trey Wingenter. Brings up Danny Rosenbaum.
And it's fun to see him grow into a man and actually take care of his affairs. I mean, he gets on me a lot because I still treat him like a kid a lot and telling him what to do. And he goes, Dad, I'm a man now. I can do all this. And so it's just his maturity, how he's grown to be where he is now. And to deal with the problems in the baseball on his own, because it's an up and down game.
First pitch to Danny Rosenbaum, check swing, 0-1 the count. Curveball hits the inside corner. Good pitch by Trey Wingenter, 0-2. Now, Jake wasn't drafted this year, which means he's going back to school for his senior season. Obviously, as a parent, in terms of getting his education, a lot of guys who get drafted after junior year, they go back and they're able to finish his education. But what do you think another year of college ball is going to do for Jake?
Well, I mean, we would like something to work out now if possible, and hopefully with the way his season's going now, maybe something will work. We're hoping. But if he goes back, I think it'd be good that he'll get his degree for one thing, because baseball's not going to last forever. And they've got a pretty good team coming back, so I think it'll be a good experience. Because after going to the College World Series, that was really a highlight that they'd like to redo.
Rosenbaum strikes out. Trey Wingenter strikes out the side. Well, Mr. Fincher, very glad to have you up in the booth. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and enjoy your time here. I'm sure we'll see you again around Lowell Park tomorrow and the rest of today, and it's great having you in town.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Enjoy listening to you guys all the time.
That is John Fincher, the father of Kettleers center fielder and league leader in batting average, Jake Fincher. Will head to the bottom of the third, still 1-0 Gateman.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
7, 8, and 9 due up for the Kettleers, and after John Fincher joined us up in the booth for the top of the third inning, his son Jake comes to the plate. Jake, on the season, there's a reason why he's a league leader in batting average, hitting at .403, 27 hits and 67 at-bats. First pitch on the way from Kyle Cody to Jake Fincher. Fastball that misses high and away for ball one. Jake, at the moment, is hitting over 100 points higher than his batting average finished last season. Although he did hit .294 last year. 1-0, fouled out to play to the right side. Count even up at 1-1.
And the gap between the runner-up for the batting average title is not even close. Richie Martin Jr. from Bourne, 90 points behind Fincher for that top spot.
Cody stares in over the glove, the 6'7" right-hander from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. 1-1, Fincher hits it on the ground to the right side, just goes foul. Past the first base umpire, John Guani. So 1-2 on Jake. Logan Taylor stands on deck. Wareham had 3 North Carolina State guys on their roster earlier in the year. Can't remember the third one, but Preston Palmero and Andrew Kisner were on the roster. They have all since went home. 1-2, swing and a miss. Jake strikes out on a changeup from Kyle Cody. And we appreciate having Mr. Fincher on up in the booth. It was a pleasure, as he will head back downstairs and join his family. So 1 out for Logan Taylor. That was fun. I enjoyed that. In my time here last year, we met a bunch of parents, but we never had any of them on the air. That's a really unique experience. First pitch on the way to Logan Taylor. Fastball misses low and away for ball one.
Two things that strike my attention about that was, number one, we didn't even ask him. Mr. Fincher comes upstairs and knocks on the door and just wanted to say hello and had him on for a half inning.
Logan Taylor rips it out to left field. Corey Ray on his horse settles under it, makes the catch about 10 feet in front of the wall. Taylor out on 2 pitches, brings up Drew Jackson. Drew Jackson, another guy whose father is in town. Peter Jackson, the father of Brett Jackson. Peter, actually, on our way to the car yesterday at the Falmouth broadcast, showed us a picture of his son Brett after a walk-off with Ryan Kalish, who is the older brother of Wareham left-hander Jake Kalish, and Manny Ramirez. First pitch, check swing, Drew Jackson goes around. 0-1 the count on the shortstop from Stanford.
Of course, Manny, one of the new player coaches for the Iowa AAA team of the Chicago Cubs.
0-1 on the way to Drew. Fastball, misses low and away, count even at 1-1. And we promised Peter that we would have him up in the booth for a segment, so we're going to have to find him. They're going to be here for a week, the Jacksons. And he's definitely a guy I want to have on the air. 1-1, fastball misses low. Counts at 2-1 on Drew.
If you remember yesterday going to the car, one of the things that Mr. Jackson wanted to talk about, he said, we can talk about baseball, we can talk about ballet. Multitude of interests for Mr. Jackson.
Met him last year. Phenomenal human being. Phenomenal guy. Very interesting personality. 2-1, Drew hits it out to right field. Anderson Miller settles under it, makes the catch for the third out of the third. Kyle Cody has faced the minimum. We'll head to the top of the fourth. Still 1-0 Gateman here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and Comcast Channel 99 all the way from Mashpee to Chatham and Channel 13 in Sandwich. Stay with us, friends.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Top of the fourth inning here, Anderson Miller will lead it off, the right fielder for the Wareham Gatemen from Western Kentucky, home of the Hilltoppers. 14 for 46 coming into today. First pitch strike. Slide piece from Trey Wingenter hits the inner paint. 0-1 the count. Miller grounded out to second to lead off the second. 0-1 from Trey. Curveball that misses low and away. Count even at 1-1. Gateman, a run on 2 hits. Kettleers, 1 hit. Fastball misses in. 2-1 the count on Anderson Miller. So John Fincher comes on the air with us, and we're going to try and have Peter Jackson on tomorrow. 2-1, chopper right to Logan Taylor at second, flips to first. 2 groundouts to second base for Anderson Miller, 1 out for Charlie Warren.
And as good as we've seen Trey Wingenter this year, no question. 6 straight retired. Struck out the side in that third inning, 4 total on the day. This might be the first starter we see for the Kettleers go the longest we've seen a pitcher go for this ball club. But
here's Charlie Warren. First pitch fastball hits the outer paint for a strike. Yes, you don't want to jinx that. Not in the slightest. Be good just to get Wingenter through 5 and evaluate from there. 0-1 on the way. Fastball misses into Charlie Warren. the center fielder from Rice. He walked and scored the Gateman's lone run back in the second on the RBI double from Corey Ray. Hendricks in on the grass at third. Nubber out in front of home plate. It bounces backwards and foul. Count even, or count to 1-2 on Charlie Warren. Drew Jackson back at second. Logan Taylor, or Drew Jackson back at short. Logan Taylor back at second. Hendricks in on the grass. 1-2. Fastball just misses outside. Count even up at 2-2. Outfield is normal depth. Glines shifted to the left, out in left. Ring him up, strike three called. Wingenter, a nasty curve. Wingenter has retired the last 7 that he's faced, and 4 of the last 5 have come via the K. Wingenter has 5 strikeouts.
He's got every pitch on right now. The fastball is popping the glove at 94 to 96. Sometimes a bit lower. The changeup is locating, and that curveball, there it is again. A great spot to a righty and a lefty.
Right at the knees, taken for a strike to Jose Quaz, the third baseman from Maryland. Reached down in error. Quaz hits this one right to Logan Taylor. Eats Taylor up a bit, but he fires on to first in time to retire Quaz. A quick inning for Trey Wingenter. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth. A pitcher's duel is developing here at Lowell Park. 1-0 Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Top of the order due up for the Kettleers. Wareham has basically shut down the Kettleers offensively, specifically Kyle Cody. Cody has faced the minimum. The only hit he gave up, a single to Jamison Fisher to lead off the second. Fisher was caught stealing when Brendan Hendricks was at the plate. John Norwood flew out to right to lead off the ball game. And now there's a discussion between Brian Bambanek and first base umpire John Guanci. And home plate umpire Joe Caraco is waiting, staring down at third.
Not sure if this has something to do with it, but there was a camera stationed about 3 or 4 steps to the right of the first base line. It's been moved. It's on a tripod. Now it's located along the chain link fence. Maybe there was an issue there. I'm not sure.
First pitch to John Norwood, tailing fastball. Hits the outer corner for a strike. 0-1 on Norwood. Norwood, the Kettleer DH, has only played the field once since coming to the Cape League. Change up, misses low and away. Count even at 1. John Norwood comes from a very interesting name for a hometown. Peapack and Gladstone, New Jersey. 1-1, Norwood skies it to right. Anderson Miller goes back on it, settles under it, makes the catch. 2 at-bats for John Norwood, 2 flyouts to right. 1 out for Jackson Glines.
And you mentioned the fact that he's played the field just once. Let's recall, if Jackson Glines does not injure his hand in batting practice, then John Norwood would still be the DH. Jackson Glines was scratched from a start against Harwich on Wednesday night earlier this week. That's why Norwood took over in center field.
First pitch on the way to Jackson Glines. A changeup that misses high. 1-0 the count. On the Kettleer left fielder from Michigan, Glines grounded out to Nick Halmendaris back in the first. Righty-lefty matchup. Quaz in on the grass at third. 1-0, swing and a miss. Nasty slider from Kyle Cody. Count even 1-1. Norwood wants to play the field, though. And I think there actually is some credence as a bug lands on my computer. Fastball foul back to the screen. Looks like a potato bug. Thing's kind of disgusting. Now I sent it over toward your sunglasses. It just flew in from the window.
Oh, really appreciate it. Thank you, man.
I didn't mean to give the bug to you. I just needed to send it somewhere else. I didn't want it getting into my keyboard.
And my Ray-Bans would like a bug on it.
1-2 on the way. Fastball misses high and away. Count even at 2 on Jackson Glines. On deck, Rhett Wiseman. The bug's gone now?
It is. We're all
Good.
set.
Good. 2-2 offering on the way to Glines. Fastball misses away. Count goes to full. 3-2 on Jackson Glines. Cody has faced the minimum to this point. Has surrendered a hit. But that's been it. Payoff upcoming to Jackson Glines. Glines fouls it out of play behind the Arnold Mycock press box building into the parking lot. And Jackson McClelland is starting to loosen, or get up at least, and stretch in the bullpen. Trey Wingenter has been fantastic.
57 pitches to this point for Wingenter, which is solid, averaging just under 15 pitches per inning.
Time called. Cody steps off the rubber. Gateman, outfield is normal depth, infield back at all positions. Righty-lefty matchup. Payoff on the way again from Kyle Cody. Fastball misses low, and Jackson Glines draws a walk, the first issued by Kyle Cody today. Now Keaton Aldrich goes out to have a chat with Kyle Cody. Brings up Rhett Wiseman. These are two guys, the battery, that are from northern areas but go to southern schools. Cody from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, attends Kentucky. Aldridge from Birmingham, Michigan, attends Memphis. Aldridge, as I've mentioned several times, played high school ball with my good friend Jack Quigley, former closer for the Northwestern Wildcats. Wiseman pokes it down to left field. Corey Ray on the run. Not going to get it, but it's a foul ball. Drops foul by about a foot.
Wiseman's had an opposite field approach the last handful of games. Yesterday, an infield double, something you don't hear too often. A ground ball down the third base line in Falmouth yesterday. That pitch at least was elevated and hit deep down the left field line and couldn't drop one in.
I think it takes a certain amount of patience to be an opposite field hitter. People always want to pull the ball. Jake Fincher, a great example of somebody who is perfectly good hitting it down the line the opposite field, and maybe Rhett Wiseman is trying to develop a similar approach. Pick to first. Halmendaris lightly holding on Jackson Glines at first.
And recall also that Wiseman's second hit came in the ninth inning on a solid line drive past the shortstop Kevin Newman. Again, a 3-run top of the ninth in Falmouth yesterday for the Kettleers. And of course, they still lost the game 7-5. But the thing with Fincher that scares me is that he hits the ball so hard, and it goes the other way. And his swing is mighty.
Fincher does a great job of waiting back on whatever pitch it is that is thrown to him, and that's why he hits the ball so hard. 0-1 on the way. Wiseman hits it in the hole on the right side, a base hit. Jackson Glines stops at second. Anderson Miller gets to it quickly. Kettleers are in business here. First and second with one out. Brings up the hot-hitting Jamison Fisher.
So this time, as we talk about opposite field hitting, Rhett Wiseman pulls it on the ground between first and second. Just an inside fastball from Cody, and Wiseman able to find the hole. So an issue a walk after the Norwood pop-out. So Glines on, Wiseman on as well. This is the best chance you've had the entire game against Cody. Maybe even the best chance you've had in the entire 11 innings plus you've seen him pitch.
Fisher stands in 1-for-1, a single in the second. First pitch from Kyle Cody, swing and a miss. Pulled the string on him with a changeup. Fisher was thinking fastball the entire way. He was way ahead of it. 0-1 the count on the first baseman from Southeast Louisiana. Glines at second, Wiseman at first. Gateman double play depth. 0-1. Changeup in the dirt. Count even at 1.
Jamison Fisher got the Kettleers on the board first in that 7-3 loss to Wareham back on July 5th. A base hit to score Jackson Glines. Could be the same scenario here, this time in the 4th inning.
1-1 offering. Fisher slices it down the line. Ball going foul. Corey Ray on the run. He's got great speed, but he can't make the play. It drops foul towards the Kettleers bullpen. Jackson McClelland is now throwing. But you got to let Trey Wingenter go out and pitch the 5th because he's been phenomenal. The entire game, with the exception of the second inning, a run that wasn't even earned. Checking with our official scorer, Jared Raymond, because of the error by Drew Jackson, the run that scored on Corey Ray's RBI double, not earned. 1-2 on Fisher. Pitch on the way. Sliced foul out of play over the Kettleers' kitchen into the woods. Down the third base side. Count remains 1-2. Trace Barrera, the Kettleers catcher from Texas, stands on deck. Blake Lacey shifted over towards the second base bag. So is the second baseman, Kramer Robertson. Quaz back at third. So is Hal Menderes at first. 1-2 offering. Change up high. Count even up at 2. Katuitt trying to get their first win of the season against these Wareham Gatemen, a team that they went 6-0 against last season. 2-2 offering. Fisher slices it out of play again over the third base grandstands, over towards the restroom facility here at Lowell Park. And Fisher will do the 2-2 again with Kyle Cody. Small leads at second for Glines and first for Wiseman. Fisher calls time. He steps out, something that we have grown accustomed to seeing from Jamison Fisher. If he's not comfortable, he will call time and step out. Cody shakes off a sign from Aldridge. Now he's got it, sets at the letters in the stretch. Looks back at second at Jackson Glines. Looks back a second time. Time called. Cody steps off. And Fisher steps out of the box.
Fisher asks for time again. A very impatient hitter when it comes to swinging at the first or second pitch, but patient when it comes to comfortability.
2-2 offering. Ring him up, strike 3 called. Fisher was sitting on a changeup, and he got a fastball right down Broadway. Jamison Fisher gone looking. Third strikeout of the ball game for Kyle Cody. 2 outs for Trace Barrera.
That fastball really disrupted Fisher's stride towards the pitcher's mound. You could tell that he was buckled at the knees on that pitch, and that just comes to show that Wareham can turn to Kyle Cody for big pitches, because that one's a big one. A guy that's had success hitting him this year with a first and second situation with less than 2 outs goes in on a guy who's been red hot for this ball club. Great pitch.
Picked to second, almost in time to get Jackson Glines. But Glines scampers back safely. Trace Barrera at the plate, popped out to left in the second. Just found out today, his given name is Felipe Barrera III, but he goes by Trace.
Third, Trace. Makes sense.
I see it clearly now. Barrera slices it out of play to the right side over the Wareham grandstands down the first base side. 0-1 the count. I actually didn't understand how that translated, but he's the third Felipe Barrera. Trace. It makes sense.
That took me about 3 milliseconds to figure that out. Greg, I'm happy. You learn something every day.
0-1, Barrera hits it on a line to center field on his horse. Charlie Warren settles under it, makes the catch, scampering towards right center field. The Kettleers leave a pair on. We're through 4 at Lowell Park. Still, 1-0 Wareham. You're locked into Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Comcast Channel 99 from Mashpee to Chatham, and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Trey Wingenter works into the 5th inning. As at Lowell Park, a 1-0 lead for Wareham. Kyle Cody and Wingenter going out of the pitcher's duel between the Gatemen and Kettleers, the 4th meeting between the two clubs. Katuitt looking for their first win of the season against Wareham. That is yet to happen. 3 matchups previously. First pitch, a bunt laid down the first base line by Corey Ray. It rolls foul. Wingenter and Trace Barrera running for it down the first base line. Ray's behind in the count. No balls, 1 strike. So taking a look at the line thus far for Trey Wingenter. At 58 pitches now after that foul bunt. 4 innings pitched. Has allowed 2 hits, 1 run. He's walked 1 and struck out 5. Ray, Robertson, and Lacey. 9-1-2 expected to bat here. 0-1 pitch on the way. Change up, misses low and away. Good spot as Barrera loves to frame the baseball in the outer half. It misses 1-1. Brendan Hendricks notably on the grass down the third base line. The 1-1 waved at and missed. Breaking ball from Wingenter to get ahead 1-2 on Ray. He's responsible for Wareham's first run. An RBI double back in the second. 1-2, pop up to the left side. A long run for Glines down the left field line. He's coming in. It drops in, a fair ball. Ray's going to second. Throw to second base. Picked in the dirt by Taylor. Ray slides in his second double today. And get this, just Wareham's second hit. Both of them coming from the 9-hitter Corey Ray. This has been quite the performance from a kid that only has 7 hits on the year. Now 8 after that double. So Ray's at second with nobody out. We mentioned that Jackson McClelland is warming in the bullpen for the Kettleers in case Wingenter gets in trouble. Comes to the set. He now faces Robertson. A fastball, tails away. 1 ball, no strikes. Taking a look, Corey Ray now 5 for 8 against the Kettleers with 3 RBIs. The RBI that separates this ball game as of right now. Wareham leads 1-0 here in the 5th with nobody out. Wingenter to the set at the chest. Looks toward his shortstop, Jackson. Now steps off. And now Ray claps his hands hard as he retreats back to second base. He's trying to get in the head of Wingenter. Hendrickson on the grass, the pitch. Robertson takes a curveball low and in. 2-0 to the second baseman from Louisiana State. Robertson 0 for 2, a fielder's choice in the first. Flew to left in the second. Ray leads notably from second base. Taylor checks in at the second base bag, the 2-0. Fastball low, just above the ankles, but not enough to reach the knees. A 3-0 count. Trey Wingenter is trying to give the Kettleers one of their best starts in a long, long time. Steps off again. Now he comes to the set, quickly resets the pitch. 3-0, misses low and in, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Kramer Robertson. First and second with nobody out. Now Logan Taylor over to chat with Wingenter. Now Blake Lacey, the batter. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. The Kettleers have not had a player get out of the 4th inning until last Sunday. That was by Wingenter against the Harwich Mariners. Working in the 5th inning now with nobody out. First and second for Blake Lacey of USC. First pitch fastball, double steal, throw down to third. Hendricks is tagged, not in time. Ray down to third, Robertson up to second. The double steal on the first pitch of the at-bat to Blake Lacey. And wait, now the runners are being sent back to first and second. Not sure what the determination is here. There's still no count right on the scoreboard. Apparently, time might have been called. No, it is a ball. The officials don't explain why that pitch has forced Ray back to second and Robertson back to first. So it's first and second, nobody out. 1-0 Wareham. Wingenter probably in his biggest jam today. 1-0 pitch. A bunt laid down the third baseline. Wingenter picks it up. Heaves over to first base in time to retire Lacey 1-3. The runners now advance. So Ray is now at third base. Robertson up to second. Wingenter has matched the distance he went in his last start, 4 1/3 innings. Brendan Hendricks remains in on the grass. Now the rest of his Kettleer infielders are up at the lip of the grass on the infield. Keaton Aldridge, 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts. First pitch fastball, lifts it to the left side, out of play by the concession stands. No balls, 1 strike. Keaton hitting .386 entering play today. That average has probably ticked down just a bit, but having a solid bounce back year. 0-1. Fastball. Shot on the line towards short. Jackson goes home with it. The tag by Barrera in time. The score remains 1-0. Jackson goes 6-2 to throw out Ray. Kramer Robertson goes down to third base. Brings up Keaton Aldridge retire. Well, Aldridge now stands at first on the fielder's choice. Robertson over at third base. Nick Halamandaris the batter. Left-handed hitter from Cal Berkeley. 0 for 1, hit by a pitch on the first pitch to his at-bat in the first inning. Struck out swinging in the third. A third inning in which Wingenter struck out the side. First pitch, sliced to the left side. It falls in front of Glines, a base hit. Robertson scores, up to second, Aldridge. An RBI single for Halamandaris. 2-0 Gateman. Nick Halamandaris plates his 10th run of the season, second most on the Gateman squad. 2 outs in the inning. The Kettleers are looking for their starting pitcher, Trey Wingenter, to go 5 innings for the first time since June 27th and June 28th. Back-to-back games as a curveball swung on and missed by Danny Rosenbaum, the DH. The count, 0-1. Vince Fiore and Logan James in back-to-back starts on June 27th against Hyannis and June 28th against Harwich. Each went 5 innings. They haven't had that since. 0-1. Fastball tails away. 1-1. Wingenter just 1 out away to match that. 3 games this year out of the 26. The Kettleers have had a starter go 5 innings. That's it. The 1-1. Curveball laced out in front, over towards third. Hendricks cuts off Jackson. The throw to first. Gets away. Fisher's off the bag. So Rosenbaum is safe. Aldridge down to third base. Halamandaris down to second. And Rosenbaum safe at first, an infield single. And now they're going to score an error. Check that. An error on the throw by Hendricks. A run already in the inning. So now the base is loaded for Anderson Miller, the right fielder from Western Kentucky. First pitch swinging, grounded over to short. Jackson flips to the second baseman. Logan Taylor covering to retire the side. The Kettleers get a starting pitcher to go 5 innings for just the 4th time this year as Wingenter escapes trouble. A run in, though, as we'll go to the home half of the 5th. 2-0 Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Bottom of the 5th at Lowell Park. 2-0 Wareham as the Gatemen tacked on another run against Trey Wingenter. He goes the first 5. We'll see if he continues. First pitch swinging by Hendricks, hit down the first base line. Halamandaris, the race to first base. He tags the outside of the bag to retire the third baseman of the University of San Francisco for out number 1. Jake Fincher now steps to the plate. Fincher 0 for 1. He struck out in his first at-bat. Happy to have his father, John Fincher, on the air with us earlier in the broadcast. So thanks to John for joining us, discussing the future, the past, and the present of Jake Fincher. First pitch on the way from Cody. Fincher heaves it into the backstop foul. No balls, 1 strike. So the Kettleers, when it comes to starting pitching, Trey Wingenter finishes the 5th inning. Just the 4th time this year a Kettleers pitcher has gone 5 innings at least. Change up, low and in, 1-1. Wingenter's at 74 pitches. The 1-1 to Fincher. Fastball up and in. Just by his left and right wrists. 2-1. So at 74 pitches, debatable as if he'll go back into the ball game. Jackson McClellan continues to warm in the Kettleers bullpen. 2-1 pitch on the way from Cody. Fastball sliced to the right side. A long run for Miller. It drops in, a base hit. Jake Fincher continues his heavy opposite field hitting. The Cape Cod Baseball League's top hitter on with the base hit. One out in the inning. Here in the bottom of the 5th, still 2-0 Wareham. Fincher's at first for Logan Taylor. Taylor had a loud out to left center field. Corey Ray able to reel it in. Corey Ray has been terrific defensively as well as offensively. 2 doubles tonight. Played at Wareham's first run. Cody checks in at first with Jake Fincher. June 19th, June 29th, July 5th. All days this season in which the Gatemen defeated Katuitt. Kettleers try to change that today here on July 12th. Taylor, a shot to left center. It's a blooper now. Lacey's backpedaling out to left field. Makes the catch between the center fielder, Charlie Warren, and the left fielder, Ray, for out number 2. And now it's time for Drew Jackson. Greg Moroz mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. We promised Drew's father, Peter Jackson, that he'll be on the air with us at some point during his visit. So we hope to have Peter on the air with us tomorrow. A lot of juicy storylines, considering that his other son plays in Iowa, the AAA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. Cody checks in at first again. We mentioned Wingenter at 74 pitches. Kyle Cody at 65 on the afternoon. Infield and outfield straight away, except Halamandaris holds on Fincher at first. First pitch to Jackson. Fastball on the ground towards short. Lacey on the run, flips to second for the short out to end the inning. 5 in the books at Lowell Park. The Gatemen, halfway through this one, on their way to be 4-0 against the Kettleers. They went 0-6 against this team last season. We'll go to the 6th at Lowell Park. 2-0 Gatemen on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Shadow Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Top of the 6th inning here. at Lowell Park. Trey Wingenter back out for his 6th inning of work. Should Wingenter record an out here, it will be the longest outing from any Kettleers starter so far this year, and we're joined with last night's starter, Logan James. First of all, Logan, how are you? Has everything been fine and dandy with you?
Yep, I'm doing pretty good.
First pitch bunt from Charlie Warren goes foul, 0-1. So, Logan, the question I got to ask you is, last night you looked like you had everything working for a little bit. You lost a little bit of control in that 4th inning, but were you comfortable out there last night as Warren hits it on the ground right to Drew Jackson, gobbles it up, fires across just in time, get Charlie Warren. Warren thought he was safe.
I'm working on some new things with Coach Roberts. I changed my arm slot to get more behind and on top of the ball, which is something he preaches. So I felt comfortable in some senses, but once you get away from what you're doing right, it's hard to get back when you're working on something new. So I just got away from what I was doing right in the 4th inning.
That brings up Jose Quaz. Now, on the lighter side of things, LeBron James signs with the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday, and I was kind of thinking, first pitch to Jose Quaz, misses inside for ball 1, that you could be considered LeBron James. You both have L and J as your initials, 1-0, right down Broadway for a strike, 1-1. So, can you go around to people now saying that you are related to LeBron James? Or no, have you ever done that?
Yeah, everyone asks me that, and I just tell him he's my cousin, and I tell him everything he knows. But yeah, we actually have the same number, or the number that he came up with, 23. That's why I wear at Stanford. So a lot of people ask me about that and ask me why I'm 23, but it just happened to be that way.
1-2 fastball misses outside. You would never change to number 6, would you?
No, absolutely not.
2-2 misses low. Count goes to full on Quaz.
I feel like it's frowned upon for a starting pitcher or any pitcher to have a number in the single digits. Is that true? I feel like it's rare to have that.
I don't really know. I haven't really paid attention to that. I used to be number 8 back in high school, so I guess I went against the grain on that.
Quaz swings and misses for out number 2. Do you remember, you're a Bay Area guy, well, somewhat of a Bay Area guy, you're a Sacramento guy. Do you remember Wayne Gomes when he pitched briefly for the Giants at the end of the 2002 season? He wore number 2.
I do not, unfortunately.
I think that's the lowest number of pitchers ever worn in Major League Baseball. First pitch to Corey Ray, pops it up. Logan Taylor fighting the sun, settles under it, makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Trey Wingenter, and Wingenter's been awesome here today. But, Logan, Drew Jackson's dad is in town. A Stanford, obviously a Cal guy, but, a Stanford baseball dad. Obviously, he's a very interesting guy. Have you had any interactions with Drew's dad, Peter, since he's been here?
I actually ran into them last night at dinner. They just happened to come to the same place as us after the game, and we talked for a little bit. He gives us a hard time about going to Stanford, but he doesn't mean it. He's a great guy.
Now, we have to ask you about what Trey Winkenter's been able to do. And, of course, being a pitcher with Mike Roberts, you guys are always down in the bullpen together before the games. I mean, just describe what you've seen from Trey and kind of his work ethic. I mean, this is clearly the best start you guys have had all year from a starting pitcher.
Definitely. Trey's a hard worker. Every day we see him down doing his dry work, just no ball, just working on his mechanics. So he's one of the harder workers on the team, and he deserves it.
Well, Logan, thank you very much for joining us here. We always appreciate it. And we're going to bring Luke Leftwich on. And the last time that we had Luke up in the booth, he guaranteed that LeBron James would go to his hometown Phoenix Suns and guarantee that the Phoenix Suns would win not 1, not 2, not 3. I think he put the number at 7. So, as Logan James hands the microphone off.
Go Kings.
Go Kings. Nick Stauskas. I really like that draft pick by the Sacramento Kings. First of all, Luke, what happened?
Cleveland, they deserved their hometown hero back again. Us Phoenix fans are a little bit sad about it, but, you can't blame a guy for going home.
Well, now Phoenix has missed out on LeBron. They missed out on Melo. Pau Gasol just signed a couple of minutes ago with the Chicago Bulls.
I didn't know that.
Well, you are in the middle of a baseball game, so you probably aren't checking your phone or your Twitter or any of that. First pitch to John Norwood. This is outside for ball 1. But where do the Suns go from here?
They're signing a lot of point guards right now, so They just signed Isaiah Thomas, I believe, today, and so maybe they're trying to run a new style of offense with all point guards, and maybe one big man, and all point guards. So it'll be fun to watch. Really fast pace, a lot of passing.
1-1 on the way to John Norwood. Fastball misses low, 2-1. That would be kind of like, you ever heard of that? You remember that high school system that ran the offense with no offensive lineman, with like one offensive lineman? Did you ever read that New York Times article on that?
I must have missed that one.
Norwood skies it. Shallow left center field. Blake Lacey settles under it, makes the catch. For the first out of the sixth, Norwood retired. He's 0 for 3. But, as you were saying,
it's a big high-risk, high-reward situation. I mean, the NBA is run by the bigs, and let's see if the little guys can do it for the Phoenix Suns this year. Still predicting a championship.
Now, in terms of baseball, do you root for the Diamondbacks back home?
I do. I like the Diamondbacks, and I like the Angels.
first pitch on the way to Jackson Glines. Fastball hits the outside paint. 0-1 the count on the Kettleer left fielder for Michigan.
And you're aware that Kirk Gibson's son, Cam Gibson, he plays for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
Right. Jeff Kinley, our Michigan State pitcher, told me that because they're school teammates.
Oh, okay.
1-1 on Jackson Glines as Glines will step back in. He's a Michigan guy. So obviously you've had, your family has been in the Detroit Tigers organization. Glines fouls it out of play. Count to 1-2. But you talk about, what do you think of the trade, Vidal Nuno for Brandon McCarthy? Does that really bring anything? I mean, I loved B-Mac back when he played with the Oakland A's. One of the best Twitter follows you could ever have.
Well, I mean, I guess the Diamondbacks are just trying to unload all their contracts right now. It's probably a rebuilding time for them. So I guess we'll see where they're at in a couple years, trying to build around Paul Goldschmidt, who is the true MVP of last year. Sorry, Andrew McCutchen. But
ooh, that's a bold move. Now, who do you think's going to win this year's home run derby? That's the real question.
I'm kind of hoping Giancarlo Stanton wins it. That's who I'm rooting for. I think he's got the power to go for it, and I like him.
Do you think Yasiel Puig's getting too much love? Is that what you're thinking?
I've never really been a Puig fan, being a Diamondbacks fan, and he's on the Dodgers, so I always think he's been overhyped.
Fastball misses high and away to Jackson Glines. Count goes to full. Jose Abreu getting no love. Leading the American League in home runs with 28. I mean, what's the deal? Why is nobody paying attention to Jose Abreu?
I'm not really sure. He's with the White Sox, and I mean, they are the second team in Chicago in terms of fan base.
That touches a sore spot as the ground ball right to Kramer Robertson.
I mean, he's a great player, though. He's very good.
Now, speaking of Kramer Robertson, do you think that, with his first name being Kramer, that they have their own little Seinfeld crew on Wareham with Jerry? And if you know any of the Wareham Gatemen or any of the LSU Tigers where he plays, who would be your Jerry, your George, your Elaine? Or actually, if you guys had a Seinfeld cast for the Kettleers, who would play all of the characters if you're a Seinfeld fan?
I'm sorry to ruin this one for you, but I'm not really a Seinfeld fan. I can't say I've ever seen an episode of it.
Darn. Well,
I have seen a lot of TV shows, though. I'm a big Netflix guy.
Yeah. All right, how about this? If you could pick one TV show that you watch a lot, how would you fit Kettleer players into the roles of the people?
Interesting.
So pick a show first.
Can we get a genre?
Comedy. It's got to be a comedy. 0-1 on the way to Rhett Wiseman. Wiseman pokes down to left field. That falls for a base hit. Corey Ray fields it, and Wiseman has himself a 2-out single.
My favorite comedy is probably The Office. So
this ought to be good.
We'll go. Michael Scott would be Travis Duke, the pitcher from Texas. He's kind of a goofball. He's a clown. Logan James can be Jim. He's a cool guy. Adam Witt can be Pam because he's got the long hair. And I think he would make a beautiful girl.
First pitch to Jameson Fisher.
Dwight is a tough one.
Misses inside. Hits inside.
I'm not really sure who would be Dwight. Probably Reagan Bazaar. That's what I'd have to go with.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
He's an interesting dude. It's just one of those things. I could see him, if he wasn't such a good baseball player, just being in an office and being an awkward guy.
Who would Coach Roberts play in the office?
That's a tough question because Coach Roberts is such a character on his own. I don't know. That one, I don't have an answer for. Kevin. I don't know. Kevin was one of my favorite characters on the show. I don't know. I feel like it's an insult to call someone Kevin. I don't want to do that to anybody.
Who's Stanley?
I don't know. We've got a lot of personalities on our team, and Stanley doesn't have much of a personality. He's just a grumpy guy.
0-2. Fastball misses inside to Jamison Fisher. There is a baseball game going on in case you weren't paying attention. Count to 1-2 on Fisher. Fisher is 1 for 2 on the ball game. Singled back in the second, struck out, looking in the fourth. Cody sets. Wiseman leads at first. Fisher the tying run. 1-2. Skied out to center field. Warren goes back a couple steps to his left, settles under it, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. Well, Luke, we appreciate having you on, but before you go, we want to have you set the tone for the next time you come up here.
All right.
What would you like to have a symposium, a discussion on the next time you visit us here in the press box?
That's an interesting question. See, there's so many interesting topics to talk about. Any ideas from my man Logan James? Maybe the mustaches that are going on our team. We've got a few of the pitchers going with mustaches. I like soccer a lot. We could talk about soccer. Yeah, those are my two, mustaches and soccer.
Now, do you think you could do a full inning as Brian Wilson, like as in Brian Wilson back when he was with the Giants in 2010 and 2011 with his whole act about being a certified ninja and the machine and all that stuff?
I don't think I could do that, but I do have a challenge for you guys. Do you think me and Trey Winginter could do a half inning up here in the booth?
Oh, absolutely. You mean taking our jobs?
Yes.
I love it.
I think
I love it.
I think that would be a great idea for the fans.
Can we throw the unis on?
I mean, if
For the
you
half
guys
inning.
want, for the half inning.
I mean, you guys wear undershirts anyway. It's not
Yeah.
like it matters that much.
I mean, it's up to you guys.
I'm in.
We're calling it right now. Luke, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's been fun.
That's Luke Leftwich and Logan James, pitchers for the Kettleears. A new pitcher on for the Wareham, or rather for the Kettleears, Jackson McClellan. We'll take a quick break and be right back after this.
Shadow Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleears and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleears Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleears and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleears Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Jackson McClellan, the new pitcher for the Kettleears, a season high in innings pitched for Kettleears starter Trey Wingenter. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So Trey Wingenter's day is done. A phenomenal performance from the Kettleear righty from Auburn. Here's Jackson McClellan, the right-hander from Pepperdine. First pitch to Kramer Robertson. Hits the inside corner for a strike, 0-1 the count on the second baseman from LSU. Robertson slices the 0-1 down the line. Count quickly to 0-2 on Kramer.
5th appearance for Jackson McClelland on the season. He's pitched 9 2/3 innings this year. He's allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. He's walked 4 and struck out 11.
0-2, ring him up. Strike 3 called. Fastball at 93 on the outer paint. Robertson gone looking. 7th strikeout by Wareham today. 6 from Trey Wingenter. And that one right there from Jackson McClelland. 1 out for Blake Lacey. Lacey, the shortstop from the University of Southern California, 0 for 2. First pitch swinging, slices it back into the screen. 0-1 the count. On the shortstop from USC, who as Brendan mentioned earlier in the broadcast, played last season in the NECBL with the Plymouth Pilgrims. 0-1 on the way. Lacey nubs it to the shortstop, Drew Jackson on the fly. Settles under it, makes the catch. Quickly 2 away. He was teammates with Garrett Stubbs for most of the season. Garrett Stubbs, who at the end of the NECBL season, Plymouth was in last place, but Stubbs came over and joined the Kettleers. He hit that famous walk-off that you hear in our broadcast open every night that kept the Kettleers alive in the playoffs against the Falmouth Commodores in the first round of the 2013 Cape League Western Division playoffs. Keaton Aldridge steps to the plate. First pitch to Keaton, skied, shallow center. Jackson goes back on it. Fincher comes in. Fincher settles under it, makes the catch. That retires the side. An efficient inning for Jackson McClelland. Stretch time here at Lowell Park. But the Kettleers still trail 2-0 to the Wareham Gatemen here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
That's it, and that's all for Kyle Cody. A beautiful day on the mound. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Cooper Ferris elects to go to the bullpen. He calls on the left-hander from Murray State, number 34, Brock Downey.
Brock Downey, 0-2 on the year with a 6.48 ERA, 6th appearance. He's also started 3 games for the Gatemen. In 16 2/3, he's allowed 22 hits, 15 runs. 12 of them earned. He's walked 5 and struck out 7.
Trace Barrera will step to the plate. Barrera, the catcher from Texas. 2 flyouts. 1 to left in the second, 1 to center in the fourth. So Downey, the left-hander, comes in to face Barrera, Hendricks, and Fincher. Cooper Ferris does have some arms loosening in the bullpen, out beyond the right field fence, should anything happen to Brock Downey. You and I have been talking about, Brendan, having a pitcher's duel all year long, something that hasn't really happened. Well, today it finally happened. Trey Wingenter and Kyle Cody go toe-for-toe with each other. And you also have to remember, Wingenter, only one of his runs was earned. Both pitchers go 6 innings, giving up a combined 1 earned run. That is good pitching. That is what we've been waiting to see.
First time all year we've seen a starter go beyond 5 innings. Trey Wingenter breaks the ice with 6 innings pitched. And if you were told before the season,
first pitch to Trace Barrera, fastball misses high and away for ball 1,
that it would take 26 games to see a starter go 6 innings at least, you'd call that person crazy. I would think.
1-0 misses low and in. Count to 2-0 on Trace Barrera. Downey winds and delivers. Swing and a miss. Change up at 81. Barrera, a big cut, but no contact. 2-1 on the Kettleer catcher from Texas. Brendan Hendricks steps on deck. Barrera hits it high and deep to left. Corey Ray is at the wall. Leap, see ya. Trace Barrera, for the second consecutive day, has launched a home run. The deficit has been cut in half. Lighted up. Kettleers trail 2-1.
He did the same thing in the 8th inning yesterday in Falmouth, a solo shot to give this offense some momentum. Remember that Barrera hit that home run in the 8th, and the Kettleers were able to score 3 in the top of the 9th. Somewhat of an igniter, some sort of spark. That's what Barrera provides. A solo shot, and now just a one-run game.
Kyle Cody doesn't allow a run in 6 innings of work. First pitch on the way to Brendan Hendricks. Fastball on the outer corner, taking for a strike 0-1. And on the first batter that Brock Downey faces, he launches a home run. Curveball misses low and away. Count even at 1-1. Hendricks, left-handed hitter from USF, slices it out of play to the left side, over the third base grandstand. Count to 1-2. 1-2 offering. Hendricks loops it out. Deep right center field, left center field. Warren settles under it, makes the catch. That ball carried a lot farther than it looked like it was going to initially. Hendricks retired, brings up Jake Fincher. And Brendan looking up a stat that says that I have had the last 7 home run calls. Funny how that works.
It is.
Here's Jake Fincher. Fincher 1 for 2, singled back in the 5th. First pitch to Fincher. Curveball that misses in the dirt for ball 1. Kyle Cody, and I find it funny the way that Cooper Ferris went about this. Kyle Cody went 8 innings and threw 118 pitches against the Kettleers a week ago today out of Spillane Field. Fincher slices it down the right field line, foul out of play, count even at 1-1. He pulls Kyle Cody after 83 today. The last time that Cody pitched was last Saturday. Fincher hits it on the ground. Quaz picks it up, stumbles, recovers, fires across in time to hit the hustling Jake Fincher 2 away. That logic does not make much sense to me. That you let a guy go 118 pitches, but then pull him after he throws 83. Something doesn't seem right there. Logan Taylor steps up. Taylor flew out to left and popped out to short in the 3rd and 5th, respectively. Righty-lefty matchup. First pitch on the way from Downey. Curveball in the dirt at 68. 1-0 the count. Fastball low. Counts 2-0 on Taylor. Cody has had some elbow problems, so maybe Cooper Ferris being a little bit more cautious than he was. Breaking ball. Misses low and away. Count to 3-0 on Logan Taylor. Taylor represents the tying run. Drew Jackson stands on deck. Wind, kick in the 3-0. Fastball at the knees. Taking for a strike. 3-1 the count on Logan Taylor.
You have to recall, though, also, Greg, at that point, the Gateman had...
Taylor laces it in the left side. A base hit. A 2-out single from Logan Taylor. Brings up Drew Jackson.
Kyle Cody most likely pitched 118 baseballs in that game because look at the previous 3 games that they had been in. The pitching staff for the Wareham Gatemen allowed 8 runs to YD, 12 runs to Brewster, 14 to Bourne prior to that start against the Kettleers on July 5th.
First pitch, changeup, misses low to Drew Jackson. 1-0 the count. That's 5 of 6 balls thrown by Brock Downey. Downey clearly does not have it. Has struggled to throw strikes. Barely got Jake Fincher out on the ground ball that Jose Quaz stumbled at third. Quick pick to first. Back safely. Logan Taylor. Quick pick again. Downey trying to get Taylor napping as he took his lead. 1-0 count on Drew Jackson. Jackson flew out to right in the third. Grounded out 6-4. Another pick to first. Back safely, Logan Taylor. On deck, the Kettleer leadoff man, John Norwood. Downey sets. Looks at first. Pitch on the way. Curveball on the outside corner, taking for a strike. Count even at 1-1. 2-1 Wareham. Gateman, 2 runs on 4 hits. They've committed no errors. Kettleers, 1 run on 6 hits. They've committed 2 errors. Jackson, slow roller down the third base side foul past third base coach Mike Roberts. 1-2 on Drew. Kettleers, their only run coming this half inning on a Trace Barrera solo shot to left field. Pick to first. A quick pickoff move from Brock Downey, the left-hander. Very Andy Pettit-like. Downey sets, delivers a 1-2. Jackson, way out in front of it, skies it into the Kettleers bullpen. Count remains 1-2.
And now with Taylor on with the base hit, the last at bat, Drew Jackson has at least put the ball in play. Remember his dad joked. He said, well, I come to the ballpark and my son finally gets a hit.
1-2. Chopper to the shortstop, Lacey. Picks it, throws to second in time to force out Logan Taylor. That ends the 7th, but the Kettleers get on the board on a way back deep drive to left field by Trace Barrera. Second consecutive game that he's homered. He now has 3 home runs on the season. We're through 7. Brendan Glasheen to take you home. 2-1 Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
The Kettleers played a run in the home half of the 7th, a Trace Barrera solo shot, his 3rd. He's now tied for 2nd on the team with Logan Taylor. Of course, former Kettleer Austin Byler, still active in terms of he did exist in this league this season, has 4. It's a 2-1 ball game in the top of the 8th. Jackson McClellan throws a first pitch fastball inside to Nick Halamandaris. The count 1-0. Halamandaris today, 1 for 3. An RBI single. He's the difference in the game as of right now. A fastball popped to the left side. No play for Hendricks nor Glines. It's 1-1. We'll have a Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update next half inning. Ball shot down the first base line. It goes off the glove of Fisher. It's a fair ball. He's got no throw to first as he slides on the grass. Halamandaris reaches base safely for the 3rd time tonight. They're going to score an error on Fisher. Error number 3 for the Kettleers tonight.
You can make the argument that defense, more than anything else, has been the difference in the ball game, because the run that scores in the 2nd, not earned. In fact, every inning that Wareham has scored a run, which is 2, even though the 5th inning, the error didn't factor in, there's been an error.
McClellan's first pitch hit to the right side, a base hit by Rosenbaum. Halamandaris holds at second base. It's first and second with nobody out. So just after Trace Barrera pulls the Kettleers within 1, now the Gatemen can respond. Brings up Anderson Miller.
Brendan Hendricks is way in on the grass. So is Jamison Fisher at first. Anderson Miller, if he's smart, lays one down here.
Jackson McClellan comes to the set at the belt. Gives Halamandaris a look. Now Miller's squaring around. He lays the bunt down, but it's popped up down the third base line. Hendricks makes the catch. A guy that does not play third base on a routine basis makes a key play down the left field line, a key note number 1.
Cooper Ferris has got to be shaking his head there because that pitch was well out of the zone. It was to the outside, and Miller can't get it down. He pops it straight up, and that ball hangs up long enough where Brendan Hendricks, he makes a nice play to run over towards the Kettleers dugout to make it, but, I mean, that's a pop-up that will be caught the majority of the time.
Charlie Warren, the batter. Now Barrera out to talk with Jackson McClelland. The Wareham Gatemen have not won 3 straight games since the end of 2012. They won 3 straight at Falmouth, at Bourne, and then home against Bourne to close the 2012 season. Now Mike Roberts out to visit with McClelland after Barrera went back to home plate. Warren's going to go talk with the third base coach down the third base line. Roberts calls a meeting amongst all the infielders. Now Barrera out to join the rest of the crew. So the Kettleers get a key out on an Anderson Miller pop-up bunt down the third base line. Brendan Hendricks made the catch in foul ground. Halamandaris reached base safely to start the inning with an error by Jamison Fisher. Rosenbaum followed with a base hit, and now Roberts is going to make a call to the bullpen. Jeff Kinley on to pitch for Katuitt. When we come back, we'll see Kinley on the hill to face Charlie Warren. First and second with 1 out. The score 2-1 Wareham Gatemen ahead of the Kettleers on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Welcome back here to Lowell Park. It is now time for our first Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update of the afternoon. Reward yourself. Have a Coke. Top of the 6th inning at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. The Brewster Whitecaps lead the Falmouth Commodores 8-7. Based upon where this game is and where that game is, both of them 5 o'clock starts, that game has the potential to get darked out. Top of the 7th at Red Wilson Field in South Yarmouth. The Whitey Red Sox leading the Orleans Firebirds 6-2. The Red Sox come here to Lowell Park tomorrow, and the Kettleers go out to Eldridge Park to face the Orleans Firebirds on Monday. Bottom of the 3rd at Doran Park in Bourne, the back end of a home-and-home between the Chatham Anglers and the Bourne Braves. Bourne off to a good start. They're up 4-1 on Chatham. And top of the 4th at McKeon Park in Hyannis, the Harwich Mariners lead the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 2-1, and Hyannis in danger of losing their 11th game in 12 tries. And that has been your Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update of the afternoon. We'll have one more during the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show. Reward yourself. Have a Coke.
Jeff Kinley into pitch for Jackson McClelland as Halamandaris stands at second. Rosenbaum at first. Miller retired on a pop-up bunt. First pitch to Warren. A slicer down the left field line. It goes foul into the trees. Kinley, a closer at Michigan State, led the Big Ten in saves on to pitch.
Kinley making his 10th appearance, a 1.26 ERA, 14 and third innings pitched, 11 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 4 walks, and 7 strikeouts.
The 0-1 pitch to Warren, a curveball. Goes north to south, but misses high, says home plate umpire Joe Carico. 1-1. 2-1 ball game at Lowell Park. The Gatemen on the verge of beating the Kettleers for the 4th time in 4 tries. The 1-1, a breaking ball, swung on and missed. This bender was inside as opposed to outside on the previous pitch. Kinley gets Warren to swing through it. It's 1-2. Kinley gets his sign. Holds outside of the chest, the 1-2. Change up low and away to the left-handed hitter from Rice, Charlie Warren. Warren today, 0 for 2. Walked and scored in the 2nd. Struck out looking in the 4th. Grounded to short in the 6th. A small lead at 2nd from Halamanderas. The 2-2 pitch. Warren shoots it towards short on the ground. Jackson flips to Taylor. He dropped the ball. On the transfer, though, Rosenbaum called out. So no double play ball, but the force out at 2nd is made. Very close there at 2nd base. So now it's 1st and 3rd. Halamanderas down to 3rd base. Warren reaches safely at 1st on a fielder's choice.
You see, I don't agree with that call in the sense that Logan Taylor, he didn't look like he ever had the baseball. But the ruling by the 3rd base umpire, Steve Kineski, says that he had it in the glove and lost it on the transfer.
First pitch to Jose Cause. Fastball in the outside corner from Kinley, 0-1. And given by his reaction, he looked as if he didn't get him out. Of course he'll take it, so now there's 2 down. Kinley to the set, gives Warren a look at 1st. He's off. Barrera will fake the throw down to 2nd. A bluff to hopefully catch Halamanderas off guard. It does not, so he remains at 3rd. Warren's at 2nd. The pitch is strike, so it's 1-1. Hendricks even with the bag at 3rd. Middle infield is back. 1-1. Curveball called a strike. Big pitch from Kinley. And now he's 1 strike away from getting out of this jam. The on-deck batter, Corey Ray, the guy you don't want to see if you're the Kettleers, already has 2 doubles today. 5 for 8 on the season against Katuitt. The 1-2. Fastball, a waste pitch, high and wide. 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 8th at Lowell Park. About to approach the 7 o'clock hour. A 2-1 lead for the Wareham Gatemen on the Kettleers. 2-2 pitch. Runs inside, called the ball. Cause likes to hold his hands over home plate. The Maryland Terrapin sports the red, black, and yellow batting gloves. Holds the bat closely to the right shoulder. 3-2 pitch. Fastball sliced over the broadcast booth, foul. We'll see the 3-2 again.
That pitch, Quaz was way out in front. He was very lucky that he actually made contact with that one because he was sitting on a fastball. He got a curve from Kinley and just lunged out to make enough contact.
Quaz 0 for 3, struck out swinging in his last at-bat. Payoff pitch. Fastball grounded down the 3rd base line into the Kettleers dugout, foul. This is a huge spot in this ball game. The Kettleers could escape this half inning with a 1-run deficit. There would be smiles all around. As Kinley lets the glove lean on his right thigh, comes to the set. 3-2 again. Fastball popped up to the right, out of play. No play for Jamison Fisher down the first base line. A great at-bat here between Quaz and Jeff Kinley. Kinley this year with 2 saves for the Kettleers in over 14 innings logged. Gets his sign from Barrera. The 3-2 again. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. Kinley comes on to hold the Gatemen scoreless this half inning. We'll go to the last of the 8th at Lowell Park. 2-1, the Kettleers still trail Wareham by 1 run on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Welcome back to Lowell Park. Top of the order to bat for the Kettleers. A 2-1 deficit in the bottom of the eighth. A big half inning of pitching from Jeff Kinley in relief of Jackson McClelland. Anthony Kay, the new pitcher, is Norwood. A shot to left. A pimp shot as Warren goes back. It's out of here! He knew it from the crack of the bat. We're tied at 2. One swing on the first pitch of Kay's relief stint. The ball leaves the yard. 2 College World Series players have helped the Kettleers even the score at 2. Barrera and Norwood solo shots in the last 2 innings.
2 left-handed soft tossers, Brock Downey and Anthony Kay, groove 2 pitches on the inner half of the plate to the 2 most powerful guys on the team.
Fastball at 91 from Kay. Knee high to Jackson Glines on the inside corner. 0-1. Glines 0 for 2. Walked back in the 4th inning. 0-1 pitch. Curveball bounces out in front. Aldridge keeps it in front. Norwood flipped the bat at home plate. And many people here didn't know exactly it was gone except him after he saw that ball go. The 1-1. Fastball, Glines sends it to right field. Back goes Miller. He's on the run. It is caught in center by Warren. A step before the fence, he makes the catch. Now he's down on the grass. Looks to be okay as he sits up now. Now Anderson Miller, the right fielder, retreats his hand to help him up. He's up on his own power. What a grab. Jackson Glines almost gave the Kettleers a 1-run lead.
Anthony Kay has thrown 2 pitches that have been grooved. And I mean grooved as in dead down the middle of the plate in the wheelhouse of both John Norwood and Jackson Glines. If that ball is hit any further to the right, this is a 3-2 ball game.
Allowed out number 1 for Kay. He faces Wiseman now. A curveball low and away. Did he go around? No, he did not. Says third base umpire Steve Kineski. 1 ball, no strike on Wiseman. Today he's 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. 1-0 pitch. Wiseman takes a curveball low and away, and now we see 2 consecutive breaking balls from Kay. The big out by Glines and the home run by Norwood were both fastballs. He's being very careful here. 2-0, sliced behind the backstop foul. Rhett Wiseman, his first single was through the first and second base hole. His second single was a line shot that bounced in front of the left fielder. 2-1 with 1 out. Kay into the windup, 2-1 pitch. Fastball low in the dirt. Backhander by Keaton Aldridge. 3-1. Hitters count.
After this at-bat, or maybe even during this at-bat, Jim Lawler, the pitching coach for the Wareham Gatemen, needs to go out and have a talk with Anthony Kay because he looks like he's lost all confidence.
3-1 pitch in the dirt again. Ball 4. Go-ahead run at first base for Katuitt. Brett Wiseman works a walk. Jamison Fisher, the batter. The Kettleers have 7 hits on 2 runs. However, 3 errors. You noted this before. Each inning, the Gatemen have scored a run. The Kettleers have committed an error. That might be the difference. Despite the fact the Gatemen have had some clutch hitting. Nick Halamandaris with an RBI single. And then Corey Ray with an RBI double earlier in the game to give them their 2 runs. The Kettleers, 2 solo shots. One from Barrera in the 7th, Norwood with 1 this half inning in the 8th. As Kay checks in with Wiseman over at first base, nothing doing. The tag applied by Halamandaris. Jamison Fisher, 1 for 3, singled in the 2nd, struck out looking in the 4th, flew to center in the 6th. Kay to the set, just by his face. First pitch, half-hearted swing by Fisher. Did he go around? No, he did not, says Kineski. Just in front of the second base bag as he's covering over there in case of a double play. Slow clap here at Lowell Park from the Kettleer fans. Aldridge sets up outside. Another check at first.
Kay is overcompensating because every pitch he has thrown since the home run by John Norwood has been below the knees.
He's at the set. Lefty from UConn fires the 1-0 up and in. Fisher's ahead 2-0. And Jamison Fisher, as we both know, not a guy that is very patient when it comes to swinging early in the count. He does it a lot. And now, as you said, pitching coach Jim Murray out to talk with Kyle Cody. Rather, with Anthony Kay.
You have to figure this meeting of the minds is basically just to calm down Anthony Kay and say, look, you're a good pitcher on the year so far coming into today's ball game. Anthony Kay had a 2.29 ERA in 19 2/3 innings over 9 appearances. So this guy can pitch. There's no question about it.
And the one thing that you have to remember here is that it's not like John Norwood fought a huge at-bat against this guy. It was the one pitch that has changed this game completely. A tie game, 2-2 here at Lowell Park in the 8th inning. The Wareham Gatemen are 3-0 against the Kettleers this year. They have not won 3 games in a row since 2012. The last 3 games of their championship season. 2-0 pitch on the way to Fisher. Change up. Clock's in at 87 on the low outside corner, 2-1. Good pitch from Kay, keeping the ball away from the heart of the plate for Jamison Fisher. Wiseman's at first. A short lead with the left-handed pitcher on. Another check at first base.
I don't think that Anthony Kay is going to give Jamison Fisher anything on the inside half of the plate because both Norwood and Glines, the 2 hard-hit balls off of Kay, inner half.
2-1 pitch. Foul to the left side, out of play. 2-2 the count now on Fisher. Trace Barrera on deck for the Kettleers. As it turns out, taking a look at the scorecard here, the Kettleers have been able to tie this game with leadoff home runs in the 7th and 8th innings. Barrera a home run to lead off the 7th. Norwood a leadoff home run in the 8th to tie the game at 2. Another check at first base.
Trends would say that the Kettleers will walk off on a leadoff home run in the bottom of the 9th.
And I'm sure if you're Anthony Kay, you'd like to keep the right-handed hitter Barrera away from the plate. 2-2 on the way to Fisher. Curveball nubbed in the dirt, foul by the on-deck circle for Wareham. We'll see the 2-2 again.
Wareham does not have at least pitchers who are available. Scott Efros pitched last night. There are a lot of left-handers, including, well, I was going to say, the one right-hander available, Keaton Aldridge, the catcher, who has actually pitched twice.
Now Fisher asks for time. 2-2 the count. Wiseman's at first with 1 out. And now time called again. This time it's by Aldridge because his face mask is not completely down. Puts down the sign for Kay. He comes to the set, and now Aldridge steps out of his crouch, and now he's out to talk with Kay. There seems to be some misunderstanding here. So not only is Anthony Kay having a hard time settling down in the very limited action we've seen him, but Keaton Aldridge had to call time once, then call it again and hop out to go out and talk to him. A quick conversation. He's back behind home plate. Joe Caraco points towards Kay. He's all right. He's ready to pitch. Wiseman at first. Another check at first base again. The Vanderbilt Commodore, a big part of the national championship squad. Wiseman has stole one base for the Kettleers. Has not been caught. 2-2 to Fisher. Curveball up and in. A check swing because the ball was elevated towards his left shoulder. No swing. It's a full count. Outfield straight away. Infield and double play depth for the Gatemen. Quaz, the third baseman, is back. Wiseman's at first. Another throw over to first base.
If the game remains tied, there is a possibility of a dark out that comes into play, but that doesn't seem to be the case the way this game is going.
Kay lefts the left arm hold. He comes to the set in front of his face. 3-2 on the way. And now another check. Actually, no, he just steps off. Clearly, Kay is trying to not only disrupt Jamison Fisher, but this Kettleer crowd is trying to get into the ballgame. Comes to the set quickly now. Another check at first base. Almost got away from Halamandaris. Had to outstretch his glove to the far right side. Now he holds the ball in his hand. Comes to the set. Staring at Wiseman. 3-2. Fisher chops it on the ground down the right field line. No play for Brian Bamanek, the first base coach for the Kettleers. We'll see the 3-2 again. 2-2 in the bottom of the eighth with one out. A home run for John Norwood ties the ball game. The Kettleers try to get their first win against the Gatemen this season. Payoff pitch on the way to Fisher. Slice to the left side, through the hole, a base hit. Wiseman, a turn at second base. He'll hold there. Jamison Fisher now 2 for 4 in the game. The go-ahead run in scoring position for Trace Barrera.
And that's it. Jim Lawler, who makes the pitching changes for Wareham, has called to the bullpen.
A lefty versus righty matchup if Kay were to stay in. Instead, Murray takes the baseball. That's it for Anthony Kay. New pitcher coming on. We'll have who it is next. 2-2 here at Lowell Park. Trace Barrera to step to the plate with Wiseman at second, Fisher at first with one out. Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Turns out Trace Barrera coming to the plate with first and second, one out here at Lowell Park. 2-2 the score. The Kettleers looking for their first win against Wareham this season. It should be also noted that Wareham's just 2.5 games back of the Kettleers for the final playoff spot in the Western Division. But instead of another pitcher that throws from the right-hand side, Anthony Kay, a lefty, out. New pitcher in for the Gatemen, also a lefty.
Jason Richmond, the sidearm submarining left-hander from Georgia Southern, has only pitched in 4 innings, 4 games, a 6.75 ERA, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And most of your submarine pitchers are right-handers, not Mr. Richmond.
Has a sidearm release. Here's number 38, sports the white cleats and the blue socks. And now it's time for Barrera. Last at bat, a solo shot to lead off the top of the 7th. Brought the Kettleers within 1, 2-1. To begin the 8th, John Norwood hit a solo shot. Jackson glinds, allowed out to right center. Charlie Warren makes a nice catch up against the fence. Wiseman walked. And then Fisher a base hit between short and third. Cause is in at third base, even with the bag. Infield straightaway nonetheless. Outfield straightaway as well, as now Richmond steps off the pitcher's mound to reset. Barrera total, 1 for 3. The home run, the key, back in the 7th. First pitch to him. A grounder in the dirt. Lacey charges. Has to throw on the run to first in time to retire Barrera. The runners advance a base, though. Wiseman down to third. Fisher up to second. 2 down for Brendan Hendricks.
If that ball is hit harder, that's probably an inning-ending double play. Barrera doesn't have great speed. But because it was hit as choppily as it was, Lacey had a tough time coming up with the baseball. And if somebody faster is running towards first, he probably doesn't even get them.
Hendricks hits .375 with 10 RBIs with runners in scoring position. First pitch swinging, hit down the first base line. It goes foul. Halleman Darris bumped into first base umpire John Gonsi, but had no impact because the ball was clearly rolling foul the whole time. Hendricks loves to swing at that first pitch. He hit a walk-off home run, rather a walk-off single against the Brewster Whitecaps in a doubleheader here at Lowell Park a few weeks back. Swung on the first pitch. 0-1, a 2-2 tie. Wiseman's at third. 0-1 pitch. A long shot to right. It's way back. Get out of here. Home run. Talk about clutch. Brendan Hendricks, a 3-run bomb. Kettleers lead 5-2.
Unbelievable. You bring in a sidearm throwing lefty who, the way that he delivers his pitches, for a left-handed hitter like Brendan Hendricks, you essentially have to wait for the ball coming from behind you, steps into it, and just launches it. And that ball was so far gone, it hit 2/3 of the way up the tree line beyond right field.
5-2 Katuitt. First pitch to Fincher, a changeup on the outer half for a strike. Wow. 3 home runs for the Kettleers since the top, or rather the bottom of the 7th. Fincher takes a ball inside, 1-1. Richmond comes to the set, 1-1 pitch. Fincher chops it behind home plate, it rolls foul. On a day in which the starting pitching comes through big time, Trey Wingenter, the longest outing for a Kettleer starter this year, 6 innings. And it looked like it was going to be a pitcher's duel. 3 home runs in the latter half. Grounder over to second. Throw to first by Robertson in time to finally retire the side. A home run for John Norwood to lead off the 8th to tie the score at 2. And a 3-run launcher by Brendan Hendricks gives the Kettleers a 5-2 advantage. And we go on to the 9th at Lowell Park, right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable-Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Jeff Kinley on to close the deal, a 3-run lead for the Kettleers. First pitch swinging, a foul ball into the parking lot by Jose Quaz. Rather, Corey Ray. Check that. Ray, the left fielder from Louisville, down on the count 0-1. Takes a pitch outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And now Corey Ray comes up where he can't really do anything because nobody on.
Breaking ball, cuts across. He's locked at the knees. A lefty-lefty matchup between he and Kinley. It's on the outside corner, 1-2. 3 home runs for the Kettleers have allowed them to come back in this ball game and take a lead. The 1-2 fastball rolls away off the fingertips of Kinley, 2-2. Trace Barrera hit a solo shot in the 7th to make the score 2-1. 2-2 pitch. Ray, a shot to left center. Fincher on the run and also glinds. He makes the catch in left center for out number 1. John Norwood led off the bottom of the 8th with a solo shot on the first pitch. Anthony Kay threw. The Kettleers got runners at first and second. They were advanced over on a Trace Barrera ground out to second and third. And then Brendan Hendricks said, "See you later." A 3-run bomb to give the Kettleers a 5-2 advantage on 3 home runs. Fastball inside, the count 1-0. Now, considering the way Kinley's pitched this year, the Kettleers hope to shut the door on the gateman. Fastball popped up. Barrera may not have a play on it. Now he tries to get over it. Falls in the opposing bench stance. 1-1. But based on what we've seen today, Greg, assuming all goes well to close this 9th, you couldn't ask for a better turn of events. Besides the defense with 3 errors, the Kettleers get 6 strong innings out of Trey Wingenter on the mound, and they get 3 home runs offensively late in the game. The 1-1 shot to the right side. Taylor to the dive. It's in for a base hit. Robertson on with a 1-out single for Blake Lacey.
And now Cooper Ferris is walking down the line to have a chat with home plate umpire Joe Caraco. There may be a pinch hitter called on here.
Looks like there will be, because now one of the players here is grabbing a weight. Chris Chania. This is a guy that I wondered before the game why he had not been playing from the start. Chania is a catcher, just like Keaton Aldridge, not in the lineup today. But looking at Chania on the season for this ball club, hitting .333, 19 of 57. He leads the team in RBIs with 14. And what I wonder is, I know that the Gatemen had a 2-0 lead, but why was he not inserted into the ball game a lot earlier? And now Coach Roberts is going to the bullpen. The Vulture coming in to hunt some prey. It's time for Adam Witt. What was his office character name again?
I don't remember, actually.
Pam. Pam from The Office. The Vulture from the tree. Here he comes. Adam Witt to take over for Jeff Kinley with 1 out in the 9th. 5-2 Kettleers. They try to shut down the Gatemen for the first time this season. Right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
One out in the ninth, the base hit for Kramer Robertson has a base runner on for the Gatemen. It's 5-2 Wareham on the Kettleers. 5-2 Kettleers on the Gatemen, rather. And into pitch now, the Vulture, Adam Witt.
Adam Witt, a 4-0 record, an 0.77 ERA, making his 11th appearance, 23 and a third innings pitched, 15 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 8 walks, and 20 strikeouts.
First pitch, a broken bat by Chineo over to third. Hendricks to second for one. The throw to first, double play. Ball game over on one pitch. The Katuitt Kettleers come back with a series of home runs in the 7th, 8th, and a big close in the 9th by Kinley and Witt to defeat the Wareham Gatemen for the first time this season. A 5-2 win here at Lowell Park. Brendan Hendricks, the hero, a 3-run shot to give Katuitt the advantage.
I would say this is the most completely played ball game the entire season. From a standpoint of Trey Wingenter goes out, 6 innings, the most for any Kettleer started the whole year. 2 runs, only one of them earned. 6 strikeouts. But not only that, the fact that Trace Barrera leads off the 7th with a home run. John Ord leads off the 8th with a home run. A lot of times a solo shot can be the death knell for an offense in the sense that no rallies get started. But Jackson Glines hits a hard hit ball for Anthony Kay, and it just keeps going. Wiseman gets on via a walk. Fisher singles. Trace Barrera grounds out on the first pitch he sees from Jason Richmond, the new pitcher, and then Brendan Hendricks. I mean, my goodness. A left-handed hitter trying to hit a left-handed submarine here may be one of the more difficult things to do. But as our writer Matt Schneim was saying, that was a curveball from Richmond. Hendricks waited back as long as he could, loaded up, and pow.
Brendan Hendricks entered that at bat, batting .375 with no home runs and 10 RBIs with runners in scoring position. That average, that home run total, and that RBI total certainly went up. Kettleers Insider Postgame Show starts now.
It's time for the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. With a wrap on tonight's ball game, here's Brendan Glasheen and Greg Moraz.
A game that had everything. Power, pitching, clutch, everything involved. Kettleers win 5-2 against the Wareham Gatemen. Their first win against Wareham this season. They lost on June 19th here at Lowell Park, June 29th, and July 5th at Spillane Field. Greg Moraz over to fetch today's not winning pitcher, but a pitcher that went the longest a Kettleers starter has gone the entire season. Trey Wingenter went the first 6, the longest outing, again, from a Kettleers starter this year. Trey Wingenter was terrific in 6 innings of work. His night goes very unnoticed, given the fact that the Kettleers received 3 home runs in the 7th and 8th innings. A home run from Trace Barrera to make the game 2-1, a solo shot to lead off the 7th. As we went to the 8th, John Norwood, on the first pitch he saw from Anthony Kay out of the bullpen, hit a solo shot to tie the game at 2. And the Kettleers worked some at-bats, got some runners on. Rhett Wiseman walked a long at-bat to Jamison Fisher. He notched a base hit. They reached second and third on a Barrera groundout. Brendan Hendricks, a moonshot to right field on a breaking ball from Richardson to give the Kettleers a 5-2 lead. They closed the deal in the 9th via Jeff Kinley and Adam Witt. Should note also, Adam Witt came into the ball game with a runner at first and 1 out. The first pitch he threw to Chris Chinea, the pinch hitter, a broken bat, double play to end the game. And quite the performance today. The Gatemen also could not win their 3rd straight game. They haven't won 3 straight since 2012. The last 3 games of the regular season, the year in which they won the CCBL championship. Coach Roberts talking with the club right now. Lots of clapping and rounds of applause going around. A happy Kettleers club. A big win, as Greg Moroz noted before he left the broadcast booth, as he's out to fetch Trey Wingenter for a post-game interview. Probably, no question, undoubtedly, probably the best start or best complete game we've seen from this team in terms of offense that showed up late, starting pitching that set the tone, as well as good performances out of the bullpen to close the deal. Greg Moroz fetching Trey Wingenter. We'll see him momentarily. And here comes Greg with Trey. We'll see him momentarily. Also, we have to break some news as Axel Bawada, our video production intern, standing next to me. I have my arm over him now. Axel, you want to put the headset on for a second? All right. All right, Ax, so we got Trey Wingenter coming up.
Okay.
We got to make sure we let him know that we got to have him on for a half inning.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right, so Axel's with us right now. Greg's on his way up momentarily.
Who's he going on with?
We got Trey Wingenter, starting pitcher.
Who's he going on for the half inning with?
Oh, he's going to go on with Luke Leftwich.
Okay.
We had up here earlier. So
Okay.
that's how it's going to work. Again, the Kettleers win 5-2. And Trey Wingenter, tonight's starter for the Kettleers, goes 6 innings. The longest we see a starter go for Katuitt this year. And he should be up here momentarily with Greg Moroz. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Trey Wingenter on the air with us on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Again, a 5-2 win for the Kettleers. Trey Wingenter, the tonight's starting pitcher, set the tone with 6 innings pitched, a couple of home runs for the Kettleers to get the win. We'll be back after this. Good? All right, we're now joined by today's starting pitcher, Trey Wingenter. You set the tone from the start, 6 innings pitched. You didn't get the win, but your team picks you up at the end of the game, 3 home runs. What for you exactly worked on the hill today?
I just tried my hardest to pound the strike zone, work quick, stay in a rhythm. Guys played good defense behind me, and just wanted to give us a chance to win today.
I talked with Coach Scott before the game, and he said when you're at your best, it's when you are establishing your fastball low in the zone early on. You did that today. You didn't walk anybody. Or actually, I think you walked 2 guys, but you struck out 6. Is this the most comfortable that you have been from the get-go?
Yeah, I'd have to say it is. It's I've been building up confidence and building up everything as I've been going on in every start. I'm trying to get stronger, and so I felt really good today.
Trey Wingenter joining us on the Kettleers Insider postgame show. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen here with the Kettleers ace today. We've talked about this starting rotation this year. We've only seen this staff 3 times go 5 innings this season. It must be a relief to be not only the guy, but see someone go deep into a game and really set the tone for this club.
Well, it really helps our bullpen when you can get a starter to go deep in the game. It takes a lot of stress off the guys that got to throw, multiple days in a row. I think Duke got an off day today where he could have thrown for us, and it just helps the guys out of the pen. It really keeps us at our strongest through the week.
Now, are you excited? What does this outing specifically mean to you? Because you went 4 1/3 outings in your first summer start. Obviously, you have started back at school, but you go the longest outing that any Kettleer pitcher has gone this year. And for what it's worth, you allowed the least amount of runs per innings pitched of any appearance for anybody this year that has started a ball game. Does that mean anything to you?
Nah, it's not something that I was thinking about. It's just good to give the team a chance to win. You try to go out there every time, pitch my best, and I know the guys are going to play great defense behind me. And it turns out that they picked the whole team up at the end there with some home runs. So that's all I'm trying to do is just give us a chance to win and try to get deep in the game for us.
And we'll close with this. Again, those home runs coming from Trace Pereira to make it a 2-1 game. John Norwood tied the game in the 8th inning, and then a 3-run shot by Brendan Hendricks, a 5-2 final. We were talking during the broadcast with Luke Leftwich.
That's what I hear.
As it turns out, myself and Greg Moraz are going to take an inning off, and we're going to let you and Luke step in and take over the play-by-play duties. How's that going through your mind right now?
Well, first I want to say about Trace's home run. He told me, in I think it was the 4th inning, he said, "I'm about to hit a tater later, bro," and he came through. So I just want to let everybody know that. But yeah, I'm excited to get an inning in. I heard I was kind of roped into that by Luke, but that's cool. That's right up my alley.
All right, Trey Wingenter joining us on the Kettleers Insider post-game show. Again, the final 5-2. The Kettleers beat the Gatemen for the first time this season. All right, cool. Awesome. Thank you. It's time for the Roberts Report on the Kettleers warm-up. Standing by with Mike Roberts is Greg Moraz. Okay, we're back here at Lowell Park, a 5-2 final. The Kettleers defeat the Wareham Gatemen for the first time this year. Greg Moraz back here joining me. We just had Trey Wingenter up here with us. Greg, I mentioned it when you left here for a moment. We'll close things quickly here. You've been on for a while after this ball game, but I'd have to agree with what you said. No doubt in terms of pitching, power at the plate, and never mind that, just run scoring. This team put together probably one of their, if not the best, performance of the year, inning 1 through 9.
Trey Wingenter set the tone, and everybody's going to talk about, Trace Pereira hitting the home run to get everything started, and John Norwood hitting the home run to tie the ball game, and obviously Brendan Hendricks hitting the 3-run blast in the 4-run bottom of the 8th inning. That's the resiliency. When I talked to Brian Scott before the game, this is a resilient offense, and they did not dig themselves a hole today. Trey Wingenter went out and threw the best game that any Kettleers starter has thrown the entire season. the first time that a Kettleer pitcher has gone into the 6th inning this year. The first time that a Kettleer pitcher has gone past the 5th inning since June 28th. That's 2 weeks ago. So to get a performance like that out of your starting pitcher is a big bonus. Now that sets the tone. Nick Eichholz goes tomorrow for the Kettleers. Can he repeat against a Whitey Red Sox team that is scorching hot? They have moved into 3rd place from the cellar in the last week of the Eastern Division. Last time the Red Sox will visit here, Kettleers will play YD twice in the upcoming week. How do you translate what you did today to tomorrow and to the next day and further on?
We'll have to see. Again, the final 5-2 here at Lowell Park. The Kettleers resilient in the 7th inning. A home run from Trace Barrera, a home run from John Norwood in the 8th to tie the game at 2, and a 3-run shot from Brendan Hendricks. And as Greg said, cannot forget the starting performance by Trey Wingenter. Goes the first 6 to set the tone for the Kettleers. Big win to stop a 2-game losing streak and get their first win of the year against Wareham. And now to wrap things up with the Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update, Greg takes us home.
Falmouth leading Brewster 14-9 now in the bottom of the 7th inning. That game will get darked out, but Falmouth looks like they will come back and beat Brewster. Top of the 9th at Red Wilson Field in South Yarmouth, the Whitey Red Sox, who come here tomorrow, leading the Orleans Firebirds 6-3. Bottom of the 6th at Doran Park in Bourne, the Bourne Braves leading the Chatham Anglers 7-1. And top of the 7th, Harwich leading Hyannis 3-1. And that is a situation where Hyannis is very close. Very, very close to falling into last place. They will play Wareham again tomorrow at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Should that score hold, Hyannis will have lost 11 of 12, which is simply put unprecedented.
That's our Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update. Thank you, Greg, for that. Refresh yourself. Have a Coke. Signing off for my broadcast partner, Greg Moraz, I'm Brendan Glasheen. The final here at Lowell Park. Kettleers win 5-2. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 4:40 for the Kettleers warm-up. The Cotuit Kettleers take on the YD Red Sox. They're red hot in that Eastern Division. Hope to see you tomorrow here at the ballpark starting at 4:40.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.